Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much. An amazing, just a huge, spectacular amount for joining us this week, because this is a crazy story we have for you. Great. I guarantee you this. It is unlike any story we've told before. Completely different. Completely different than last week and the week before. And we're going for weird here. Not even weird. Just this story is strange. You're going to be very interested in it. It's one of those stories where you're like, how is this not a movie? Yeah. Exactly, because it's pretty damn weird.
Oddities abound.
Oddities abound. We'll get into it. It's a sport we have no idea about. And there's not much sports in it, really. It's more other stuff. It's all crime. So we'll get into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But just quickly before we get started, if you have not done it yet, please get on Apple Podcast, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. We don't know why it helps.
It just does.
It just does. We have no idea why, but for some reason it drives us up the charts. So help us out by doing that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related. All your merchandise is up there. There's so much merchandise up and all sorts of stuff. Tickets to live shows that who the hell knows when those are going to be happening. We don't know. Though we do know if you get tickets, then you'll have them. For whenever the show does take place, you'll be already involved. So that's good.
It's like a COVID gift card.
That's what it is. Whenever you want to spend it, whenever it's comes up, who knows? So get your COVID gift cards today over at shutupandgivememurder.com. Everything there. Also, if you want to be a hero to the show, and also if you want to get some stuff. See, this isn't just for us. This is for you too. If you want to be a Patreon donor, this week is a good week to start, by the way. In addition to the tons of other great Patreon episodes, you'll have access to Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports' whole back catalog. This week, we are doing the WWF at the time, WWE, but back when they were the WWF in the 80s, they had a little thing called a ring boy scandal.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that sounds as gross as it is. That's the thing. It's you say ring boy scandal. That's gross. It is gross. It's super gross.
Or hot, depending on who you are.
There was some definite, some improprieties and some serious allegations and some crazy stuff going on with some of the young men who they hired to set up the rings and some of their employees and some cover-ups and some things like that. So we'll get deep into that on the Patreon bonus episode. You can get that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeandsports. And Jimmie will also mispronounce your name brutally at the end of the show as well.
I promise.
So thank you. So that's good. That's excellent. And if you just want to be a great person, just a wonderful, fantastic individual, you can do PayPal too. You can go over to PayPal, use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
And boost your karma.
Yeah.
That's all. That'll do that. But let's get that all out of the way.
It's done.
Listen to Small Town Murder every Thursday, by the way. Last week, absolute insanity. If you want to start again, listen to last week.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. So you want to hear that. And hey, check out P.S. I Hate This Movie every Friday too while you're at it. Well, we'll make fun of bad romantic comedies. But that said, I think we got to dive into this.
May as well,
because this is weird, Jimmie. We cover a lot of different sports and a lot of different things, and things come up. This one, no other case. This is episode 214, and we've had 213 completely different shit cases before. Not shit cases, but different shit.
Different shit in those cases.
In those cases, exactly. So let's talk about our gentleman of the hour here. His name is James Munroe. Okay, Munroe. Okay, yeah, it's That's weird spelling. Yeah. Google does not like it. It definitely wants it to be an O. Did you mean? And then you click no, and they go, "Are you sure you didn't mean that?" But here's some other ones just with the O, just in case. You're like, listen, Google. Fuck you, all right? I know what I'm looking for.
Stop it.
I
Stop
know
correcting me.
exactly what I'm after, bastards. Now, James, we'll talk here briefly what he gets into. He's born in 1966. In that time, so he's an Englishman.
Oh,
okay. So we're going across the pond today.
66 in England.
66 in England. Okay. So yeah, he grew up in the 70s in England, which wasn't the greatest time for England. I know they were having some problems in the 70s, and I don't think the 80s were that much better for them. So he grew up during that.
It's fascinating. They go through 20 years of turmoil, and they're like, "We're going to keep the king and queen. This shit is working out."
They're like, they have since they don't do anything to cause or affect or help this. Let's just leave them sitting there.
Let's just hang on to them. Yeah. Dear Christ, don't bother with them.
I wonder if it's like is it like, well, no matter what, at least they're there. You know what I mean?
No matter how good or how bad it is, we still have that.
Well, is it almost like everybody's like extended family? Like almost like Christ, yeah, Uncle Tom's a pain in the ass, but I know he's going to be there every fucking Thanksgiving and, you know, whatever, like that sort of thing.
He's not even going to bring anything, but he'll be there.
He'll be here. Is it like extended family? Is that how they consider it, maybe?
I don't know.
It's the only reason I could see it being tolerable.
I don't understand how it goes. I mean, I guess it's a constant. It's an ebb and flow, and they just know that for sure that's a stability. That's a remnants of normalcy.
Do you think maybe it's just so as a whole, as a country of 60-something million people, they have someone to gossip about like all at once? Like you don't know your friend or this person doesn't know your uncle, but they all know, you know, Kate Middleton and whatever the fuck, Meghan Markle, and they all know them and can gossip all they want about it.
I suppose
it's like the only thing that like everyone can gossip about.
Or they're like, but then we'll have to change the fucking money.
Oh, we have to do that.
That's a lot. Listen, we're already doing terribly. That'll cost us more.
What do we do with the castles? Who's going to cut the lawn then? That's the thing. Then we got to deal with that.
Fuck it, leave them.
Fuck it, whatever. They're fine. Not bothering anybody. So
I don't know. We all look a little bit better than them, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, I have to say, William, get some plugs, bro.
For sure.
You're a prince.
Yeah.
You are literally in line for the throne.
He's the one that we know for sure is Diana and what's his fox, right?
Yeah,
that's the one that we know for sure.
The other one has way too much hair. I don't know what's going on there.
Why does he
must hate his brother must hate him too.
Why does he have to look like the asshole? He's like, I'm for real the one.
I'm the guy. Jeans. Look at me. I'm awful looking.
I'm absolutely
look how inbred I am. It's clear. I'm so inbred. It's not even funny.
I'm absolutely in line for this throne.
Super half inbred. It's obvious.
Why do I have to be the ugly one?
I just know that the bald one hates the one with hair.
Yeah.
Because for years, especially, he's like growing it like a big ginger fro and shit. And it's like, I just say he's just growing it bigger and bigger to irk his brother.
But his brother was doing great until he was like 9.
It
started thinning so quick.
Yeah, he was like 21 and he was for a bit. For a bit.
When he was in the service, he looked good, and then like the tail end of the service, it was like, oh no, bro.
Then by the time he was 22, he looked like 90s Bruce Willis. You're like, what's happening to you? My God,
that's not good at all.
That is not good.
He looked like Bruce Willis in Death Becomes Her.
Yes, yeah.
That hair, where he's like hanging
22.
on to as much of it as. Why are you doing that?
He's 22.
Yeah.
That's why he was like, no.
Yeah, but don't do that.
You're fighting nature, though, at that point. I think at that point, you're like, no, I have hair. I'm 22, so I should have hair. So I'm not going to, I don't accept my scalp's conclusion about my hair. I'm going to have the last word on this fucking hair.
He looked like he had a sleepover at Chernobyl. Like just
he did. It was,
chunks of it are falling out.
It was bad. And then his brother's just like, he got a big pick. He's like picking out his ginger fro, being like, man, whew, this thing is puffy today. Look at me. Holy shit.
Snoop Dogg visited the castle. They used the same pick.
Yeah. Anyway, he wanted to play football, but he couldn't fit a helmet on. I got too much hair, babe. Can't do it. Sorry. No helmets for me, Chief.
I want to see a redhead guy with dreadlocks. That seems like that would be kick-ass.
Oh, man. It'll go down south. There's got to be there.
There's got to be someone somewhere, right? I've never seen it.
I haven't either. But it's got to exist.
Never.
It has to exist.
Right?
I've seen a girl with red hair with cornrows.
Yeah, but was it not cornrows? I want dreadlocks.
Oh, you want dreadlocks? I
want like fucking like.
Yeah, there's some white girl doing that somewhere. Yeah, go to some festival and somebody's walking around with bright red dreadlock
dressed like the girl from Fifth Element.
Yeah, just like, yo, man. And she's like one of those chicks, super annoying. I don't even know if she eats kale. She's just like, hey.
Just drinks a green drink.
Yeah, I think she just likes drugs. I don't think it's a matter of health so much as she's like, hey.
I want to see a ginger with dreadlocks with it tied back in a ponytail.
Okay.
Like those guys from The Matrix.
Okay,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? The twins.
Like that. Yeah.
That would look kick-ass. I swear it would look cool. In my head, it looks cool. In front of me, I might be horrified.
Hey, Harry, get on that.
Yeah, Harry, stop washing it,
You can do it. Just let it go. It'll really piss your brother off if you're just experimenting with your hair like it's doesn't even. I don't know. I figured I'd fuck with it this month. Didn't wash it for a while.
There's
Put some
nothing
dreads in.
more.
Like, you motherfucker! You son of a bitch! When they were kids, he's like, haha, you're a ginger.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, motherfucker, as he's picking.
Right.
I'm what now?
Yeah.
I'd tell you what you are, but I can't tell because it's all gone. Fucking 28-year-old bald motherfucker.
Yeah, the hairline of the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
it's bad stuff. So, wow, we have really gone off the rails.
Poor bastard.
I think we just spent 6 minutes
just roasting
making fun of
somebody with a lot more money than anybody that we know.
But he didn't do anything for it, so fuck him.
Yeah.
If
Sometimes
you think
the
about
price you pay is your hairline.
that's what it is. The price you pay for power, you pay it with hair.
In your youth.
Well, they say that, the throne, it hangs heavy, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's hanging heavy on him, where the other one's like, I ain't got to be king. I'm moving to L.A.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
I'm going to take my hot wife to L.A.
I'm going to go to the dispensary and...
I'm going to go ruin some L.A. girls' lives when they see what I'm bringing with me.
Jesus Christ.
Me and my ginger pro.
They had by the way, okay, this is the last thing on the royal family, I swear to God. And then we'll actually get into crime and sports, which is the episode.
Easy.
But there was a show, and I think this is probably the greatest premise of a reality show of all time. I didn't see it, but it's a show called I Want to Marry Harry, and it was from like 2013 when Harry was like a big sex symbol. Remember when everyone was like, oh, everyone wanted to fuck him, and they got an actor who looked like Harry to impersonate Harry and pretend he was Harry, and these girls on the show thought they were on a reality show to be a princess. They thought if they won, they got to marry Prince Harry and be the princess.
They thought that's
how it works. And they go through this whole show, and at the end they're like, you win. By the way, that's not Prince Harry. This is
Barry. He works down the street.
Yeah, he works at Starbucks. Right. Like, he's literally an unemployed actor. He had to like take off to do the shoot for 6 weeks. So if you still want to marry him, I mean, it's open. I'm sure he doesn't mind. Barry, you good with this? Okay. Yeah, he says he's in. I don't know if you want to.
He said he'll call you princess. Is that good?
Is that good enough? His castle, he lives in a studio apartment up in...
it's really high in West Hollywood.
It's up there. Don't worry about it. So this James Munroe, he is not born in a castle.
Okay. Poor royal family.
They're
suffering.
They've just had it so hard over the years, haven't they?
I got a feeling we'll never be knighted.
Just doing nothing and living in castles. It's really a tough life. It's a tough life.
God damn it.
You can talk about me in any tabloid you fucking want.
Oh my God.
If I can live in a castle and not do shit. That sounds great. I'd love to do. I know they have to do official duties, which consists of dressing up in a fancy fucking suit and going places and eating. So I mean, that's something.
I'll clean up the jizz puddles with whatever rags you print about.
It's all good, yeah. It's fine.
Created by whoever willingly manipulated that out of me because I'm royalty.
I'd just be so happy it'd just be coming out all the time. I don't even know what's going on. Oh, again? Holy
I can't
shit.
stop it.
I'm just every 15 minutes.
They call it the Royal Fountain.
Mm-hmm. You know how that goes. Don't call it Big Ben for nothing. So, okay. Munroe here, he's born in Wokingham, Berkshire.
Okay.
Wokingham.
They are woke.
He's the most woke.
Yeah.
It's the most woke in all of Britain. Very woke.
That's where you go to get woke.
That's it right there in Berkshire. Okay, let's jump right ahead into what he does. Okay, he's in a thing that we've never covered before, and we'll cover it very briefly because I don't know shit about it, and the explanations about it aren't really that clear.
Great,
and it's the explanations are more things that I don't know, so I'd have to look up that explanation and then look up, and it's really not worth it.
We have much more fun just creating it.
Yeah, it's fun. We can just talk about the royal family for the next 2 hours,
right.
But it's British GT Championship Racing.
Okay,
that's what it is.
I can see
know
what
this is.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, it's they're real cars.
Yeah,
but
BMWs that are tricked out,
and fucking McLarens and Porsches and shit like that.
They're sick.
It's cool as fuck. I mean, these cars are awesome. They're just awesome as shit. They're like race versions of street legal cars.
Right.
So that's cool as hell. So I saw that. This whole series, I guess, British GT Championship Racing started in 1993, and it's very, very complicated. This is the explanation I got. Okay. What is it? Okay. This guy wrote it out. He says there are many championships in many territories. Then he says, I'm not so knowledgeable about the U.S. events, but tend to watch the British and European events. The biggest bits that are different from F1. So this is the difference between British GT and F1. Which I don't know much about F1 either.
F1 is just that formula racing.
That's with the open wheel.
Those cars are so fast.
Those are ridiculous
that's
cars.
Stupid.
Yeah.
That's not even a car. If you can't buy that, that's not a car.
No, you can't even imagine that being street legal. No one's pulling up to it's got a cockpit with one seat in it. Right. You're not going to pull up to a light with that thing.
It's an F-16 with fucking delete the wings, put wheels.
Can you go through a drive-through? Right. No? Okay, well, it's not a car. That's not a car then. You just can't even open your little port. So what are you supposed to do? So he says in this one, the cars look more like real cars. Like we said, they do. They look like awesome versions of street cars. There are varying levels of similarity and differences between buying an Audi R8, which is like your top of the line, kind of fast Audi.
It's a supercar.
Yeah, from your local dealership, and buying a GT4, GT3, or GT2 race car, but the brands are recognizable and relatable. So yeah, it's just the race versions of that. Like some dealership had what the fuck was it? This crazy Porsche. This Porsche has the 911. They have the GT3 and the 4, and he had one that was like $200,000 or some crazy shit, and it was it was ridiculous. This car, I didn't even want to go too close to it. I just saw it and I was like, I'm going to stay give this thing a bubble. I'm going to social distance this car because I don't want to fuck it up at all. It was really nice. So also driver changes, unlike F1 where even the team is generally centered on the single driver of each car. GT racing is much more of a team sport with anywhere between 2 and 4 or even 5 drivers sharing a car over a race. You switch out drivers in these races, which is...
I can see that, but that's the whole point.
It makes sense, but then the whole thing is different.
Right.
So you have to...
The whole point of having just one dude is to see the endurance of that bitch.
Well, I guess this would be more like a team thing. You'd have to build your team of people have different strengths, and you'd have to know, okay, this guy's this and this guy. I don't know. I don't know what that is. This adds excitement as a car can be dropping down the field in one part of the race only to steam back up later with a faster driver. So that's kind of interesting, too. Race distances also. Some series have 1 hour races. Some have 3 hour races. Some races are 8, 10, 12, or even 24 hours like the Le Mans that we talked about with the one guy. As a result, you often get refueling in races. In many series, this is done with high pressure refueling rigs, a bit like F1 of old, but in some series it's done at literal petrol pumps. They have the gas pumps where you'd pull up to the Shell station and be like, just put it in. Do I have to pay? No.
Premium,
I have to pay first? Yeah. What goes in here? It can't be regular, right? This fucking thing looks crazy. Ridiculous. So that's what they're doing. So they were really trying to... It's any kind of new racing league or any kind of new sport. It's obviously a little precarious at first. So they're trying to figure out ways to do this. Now, in 1998 is when our guy... kind of comes into the scene here. So he's about 32 years old.
And he gets into the GT racing.
He gets into GT racing. Yeah, he pops up out of nowhere.
Really?
He's not a race guy. It's not like he's been doing other racing for years and now he's going to go into this. Yeah. He's just a dude that pops up out of nowhere and he's like, I want a GT championship team that I'm going to drive for.
Okay.
I'm going to make one and I'm going to drive it.
That seems expensive.
Well, yeah, it seems very expensive. So he comes up and right away too, he puts a big amount of money into this racing team. I'm talking from the very beginning, he hires a huge PR firm. They hire models and pop stars to do big promotional events to kick off the brand and all this type of shit. I mean, they're not Caprice, the model. She was hired for a thing. And pop star Paul Young, I don't know who that is. No. British. Yeah. Who the fuck knows? But they were hired to do the opening party for this whole thing. So he's making a statement here that he's not only going to race, but it's going to be cool to hang around his team. He's going to be a playboy about this shit too.
He is Instagramming a 1998 race team.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's doing.
Power.
Yep, and for a brand, it gets attention right away. No one else in the British GT Championship is doing this. They're just a bunch of guys with cars. Whereas this guy's like, no, we're going to make this flashy and fancy, and he promotes his team, and he enters the racing series, calls himself, because they have different levels. Did you come from this racing, that racing? He calls himself, the class of racer he is, quote, gentleman driver.
Oh boy.
Which in Britain, in the UK and Great Britain, usually anytime the word gentleman is used, it means you don't work. That's what that means, that you are a fucktard who got money from your dad. It means somebody died and gave you land. That's what gentleman means. That means you haven't done shit.
I bought my way into this shit.
I've never broken a sweat is what gentleman means, basically. From what I've gathered, obviously there's different things, but he's a gentleman driver is what he calls himself. So basically, rich guy. That's what that means. Rich dude.
It's a fascinating context.
Felt like buying a car. Imagine if they did that in other sports. Gentleman quarterback. I'm just a very rich man who likes to throw the football around.
It's nice to meet you.
And they let him in here. No shit. You imagine, though, other sports, just gentlemen. There's no gentleman fighters.
No.
I'm just a gentleman. No, you'll get killed.
You don't know how to do this.
No, but somehow, and it seems like racing would be something that you wouldn't want to just jump into because, I don't know, it seems dangerous. It's highly skilled.
Right. It's more dangerous than fighting in terms of, like,
you can explode.
Yeah. There's fire involved.
I've never seen a man catch fire in a boxing ring. I've seen people have died in the ring. They really have, but they didn't burst into flames first, which is, it's a difference.
There's concussions to take on both sides.
It'll happen, but
the flame part, that changes the game.
The high test fuel is involved. I haven't seen anyone left-handed. He's covered in high test fuel and he's burst into flames. Oh my goodness! The 10th round has been amazing here, folks. Jesus Christ.
They say that left hand is volatile. I don't mean that it'll explode you. You will spontaneously combust if he catches you.
Spontaneous combustion, that left hook.
Although I would watch Mike Tyson fights a little more closely.
Wouldn't everybody?
If
love
somebody
to hear that.
could burst into flames at any minute.
I love to hear Harold Letterman before a fight on HBO. Hey, these two fighters, Johnson, he's got a good right jab. He's got a nice right jab. I like his overhand right. It's not bad, too. He's got that uppercut that he's a little wild with. But Johnson on the other side, I'll tell you what, he hits you with that left hook, you will burst into flames. You will explode and turn to ash inside the ring. So he's got to watch out for that left hook is what I'm talking about. Back to you, Larry. That would be a great fucking intro to a fight. It causes explosions.
Yeah.
Spontaneous.
We have a word for him. We call him flammable tonight.
He's very
flammable.
He's on fire. His last 4 opponents were incinerated in the ring before the 3rd round. Right. So I would look for an early round incineration here. All right, back to you, Larry.
I want to see.
I would look for an early round incineration.
I want to see some of those, like, just literal words. I want to see those taken seriously in some video where anything, because they say such the hyperbole is it's flexed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I want to see some of that. Somebody edit a video and make that shit go like super literal. He's on fire tonight and he's like trotting back down the court and he's just flaming like NBA
legs
Jam. Are on fire all the way up to his face.
Still looking there's a lot of discomfort on his face. Jesus Christ. That's some NBA Jam shit there.
Yeah, that was such a good game.
Oh, it's the best, man. Well, we even played that.
I don't want just the ball on fire. I want their whole fucking
head.
body.
Yeah.
Just
he's burst into flames. That's a good left hook, boy. When you can incinerate a man with your left hook before the 4th round, I got to tell you, it's impressive. So he's a gentleman driver.
Yeah.
Now he hires a publicity firm named Panic Publicity to publicize his race team. So he doesn't want to just kind of get in and race some and get into the whole thing. He's like this day one. He wants to be the most well-known. He's never raced before. Right. He's just like this dude who popped up. So it's a very weird thing. Yeah. But he publicizes this big image of this race company, and the publicity place from him, the way they promote him is they tell everybody that he's doing all this. He had a computer company. It's .com days, 1998. So he said he had a computer company that he just sold for 50 million pounds. Oh. What's up, motherfuckers? And he's just ready to now he's ready to party. Yeah. He's a nerd. He's like Mark Cuban.
He's Elon Musk.
He's Mark Cuban. He had, he's a nerd who had all this shit, and then he sold it for a bunch of money. He's like, now I'm going to have fun.
Now
I'm going to be
this.
A sports owner. Right. Just doing the same thing on a smaller scale.
Now I know everything about Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, now I'll tell you all about fucking isolation offense. Right. Let's do it. What? Okay, sure.
Show you the best way Jason Kidd is utilized.
Sure, what the hell? Why not?
Unbelievable.
That's the funniest shit. That fucking
that guy.
It's I don't mind Mark Cuban so much, but it's fucking
good for him to work it out too.
Yeah. Well, he did similar shit though, like this. Like he came in and he was like, publicity, because back, you have to understand the Mavericks are like a big team now, but they weren't back in the
were
day.
They bad.
They were
Fat Levers, your biggest player.
Lever, yeah, they were a joke. Yeah. Oh, Rolando Blackman's back on the team. Great.
Did they have Tree Rollins too for a little while?
Yeah. I'm sure. They were just an awful team. They had an awful logo. They just looked farty and
so
stupid.
Bad.
Yeah, he came in and we talked about this all the time. He offered people $100,000 to change their name to Dallas Maverick for a year, and then more money if you'd fucking tattoo the Dallas Mavericks logo in a visible place on your body.
Today, that is such a just a low play. Everybody would do it today. Yeah, he'd be broke tomorrow.
Oh yeah, people don't give a fuck
this
now.
This country would be Dallas Mavericks.
People used
everywhere.
to have integrity a little bit, a little. Remember when remember when people didn't want to be on TV because they would embarrass themselves? Remember that?
Yeah, when there was shame.
When there was shame. Now people are they don't give a fuck. They'll let cameras do whatever.
Shame's not allowed anymore, James.
There's no such thing as shame anymore.
You're not even allowed to give it to somebody.
No, you're never mind have it yourself. It's just weird. People used to be like, oh, well, I don't want people to see me on TV looking stupid, and they'd actually worry about it. Now people are like, where am I? They're in their fucking pajamas. They don't give a fuck, man.
They can't wait to look stupid.
They can't wait to look stupid.
You know why? Because you can't shame me for that.
Hold on. I'm coming out. Let me put my slippers on so I can give you my political opinion on my front lawn. Hold on a minute. Okay, now that I'm here, let me tell you something. Okay, thanks.
My slippers, so your dick's still out. I know. Listen to my opinion.
I said I wanted slippers, not a fucking warm dick. Looking hot out.
I want to step in gravel. That hurts when it digs into your heel.
My dick needs air.
Right.
So,
now let me tell you what I saw happen down the street 3 weeks ago.
Man. So so he's $50 million. He's saying 50 million pounds. So he's saying 50 million pounds. The publicity company's publicizing this. It seems like a really awesome story. Here's this nerd guy, and they sold his company, and now he's got 50 million pounds, and he's going to dive into racing with all this exuberance and enthusiasm. And anytime a sport has somebody wealthy that jumps in with enthusiasm, it helps the sport because it gets other rich guys get involved. More money gets involved, and then the sport can kind of grow a little bit here. Now, this publicity person, Ghislaine Pascal, he says, quote, in the end, he was the genuine Walter Mitty who created this world, and in the end he was doing crazy things like flying 10 people on the Concorde, but he never appeared the playboy. He did not go to parties, and he was always conservatively dressed. So that's the weird part. He's doing all this, but he's not living the lifestyle. He's doing this publicity and he wants this race team to be big, but this doesn't seem like he just created this racing world. Yeah. But he's not partying. Like I said, he could if he wants to, but he's not out with women and partying, and he's got a suit and tie on, and he's got glasses, and he doesn't look like a guy who is just throw down, hef. You know what I'm saying? That's not his style at all. But
he's wild on the racetrack, and then gets back home and he
And he's
on PJ.
He just really fucking he's and then he gets, when he's into racing, this is the car he's racing, by the way.
Let's have a look. See. Holy shit.
Yeah, I wanted to show the picture so you can see it.
Those cars.
It's a fucking McLaren. It's this crazy shit race McLaren.
It's a fucking spaceship with wheels.
If you picture like a toy, car that looks like a crazy, like it's going to transform into a robot.
Right.
It's this fucking car.
It's 2 inches off the ground.
I was going to say, I don't even know, you couldn't slide a piece of paper under that thing. If there's a pebble, you're going to fucking crash.
And it's streamlined that if you blow on it, your breath goes over it perfectly.
It's completely aerodynamic, no wind resistance whatsoever, but it's a dope-ass fucking car.
It's unbelievable.
It's an orange McLaren F1 GTR. And
what year is this?
The car?
Yeah.
I'm not sure at the car.
But I mean, what year?
We'll get to it later. 1998.
Yeah. So that's when McLaren had the fastest production vehicle in the world, and those were super sought after. So it makes sense why he would tag that company to make the car for him.
It makes sense. And he's driving one of these on the track, and then he's got a street legal McLaren he gets to.
Hell yeah.
That's similar to this, but street legal. The street legal version of this, basically. So,
and they look very similar, too. That McLaren,
No, it's
an F1?
They're pretty much identical.
It's ridiculous.
One's a long tail or something, and one's whatever. There's two, but they look pretty similar, and they both look silly.
Yeah.
Just like crazy fucking race cars. So he's a gentleman driver driving this goddamn thing, which, I'm sorry, I don't know if I would, on a racetrack, I wouldn't want to drive something like that on the street. I would be afraid to fucking wrap it around a telephone pole.
I'd be scared to do that on a racetrack.
Well, at least on a racetrack, there's nothing to hit.
But it's an expensive car.
I'll spin it out on the infield if I have to.
I feel like an asshole for braking.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a nice car.
It's fucking gorgeous. So they had the big launch party for the race team, like I said, with Caprice and some fucking pop guy. It was at a restaurant in Soho. They had champagne. And he was talking about, he made like a little speech, and he was talking about how one day we are going to we're going to keep this British GT, and eventually this is going to fold into Formula One. We're going to I'm going to end up with a Formula One team one of these days, which are very expensive. Yeah. That's a different level of everything, because that's international. They go all over the place. This is just kind of a localized circuit in England. So
in the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
A little bit different. So he says that he's doing that, and he says he bought a Benetton race car that once been driven by Gerhard Berger.
I imagine he's a big deal.
I imagine that means something if you know anything about F1 racing, which I don't.
Maybe so I don't. Richard Petty of that shit.
I don't know what that car is, and I don't know who Gerhard is at all.
That doesn't sound like a race car driver. Richard Petty sounds like a race car driver.
Richard Petty sounds like a race car driver.
That sounds like a dude that grew up in a barn that didn't even have a trailer.
He sounds like he spits tobacco between his first and last name when he's introducing himself. Richard Petty, nice to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds like a race car driver. And you can barely hear him over engine noise.
Right.
It's one of those.
Don't you dare call me Dick. That's what it says.
I just idle high. That's all. That's that noise you're hearing. I idle at about 4,000 RPMs just to keep her on her toes, if you know what I'm saying. I have no idea if that makes any sense at all.
It's close.
Fuck it.
It sounds good.
Let's say this up front. I don't know shit about cars. Like, I know what cars are and basic stuff, but I don't know like any engine stuff or any of that. I'm not a car guy.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, you know all your car stuff.
That's my wire.
I don't know shit. Yeah, I know nothing about cars.
All right.
So, your cars are like my weed, I guess, we'll say.
My cars are your weed and reading.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. No shit.
Take that for what it's worth.
That's perfect.
It's fun to open the mail, and every time I see a book, I go, here, this is for you.
Doesn't even look. Doesn't even look to see if it's like, hey, Jimmie, it's always just like, that must be for you. It's a book.
And then you go, Jimmie, this is an adult coloring book. It's certainly for you.
This one's yours. This one's yours, bud. Oh, Christ. So this Munroe guy, he's not only does he do all this and make a big splash and kind of looks like a little ego thing too, obviously. But like I said, he's not partying. That's just not his lifestyle. Yeah. But it looks like this is kind of an ego thing. This is like, I'm going to stroke myself in public is what this is and show everyone how great I am. Right. And this is almost like a nerd who people picked on. And now he's like, I'm going to show them how cool I am now. Look at me with models in a race car, which is, people do that. That's fine. Yeah. If you can, go for it. So he puts his money where his mouth is, though. He signs like a hot driver who other teams are fighting over to be his other driver because he's going to drive this fucking car too.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's going to be
getting behind the wheel.
Oh, he's not just owning the car. No, he's a gentleman driver, Jimmie. That's what I mean. This would be like if Mark Cuban's like, I signed myself as a shooting guard.
We were looking through free agency. Not real promising. I'm going to go ahead and lace them up.
I said there's one guy on this whole list I can trust, and it's me.
I would love it.
So that's what he did, though. He signed like another really good, like I'm going to sign a good player, but he'll back me up. You know what I mean? Like if things are going wrong, I'll bring him in.
Witherspoon's about 2 years past his prime. I'm going to go ahead and play.
I'm going to play. I'm going to start tonight. You guys get it, right?
And from the owner's box, playing shooting guard tonight,
comes down
Mark Cuban.
Undoing his tie. Hold on a minute, guys.
It just goes silent.
Yeah.
Is this guy for fucking real?
What is he, 5'11"? What's happening? Give him a chance. Maybe he can dunk. We don't know.
So
Spud
good.
Webb was small. I mean, he could. Who knows? Oh, no, he's got nothing. Okay.
He's a gangly white guy that does computers.
Yeah,
we should have known.
So. Yeah, that's probably a problem. So he's signing this up and coming driver. It's like, you imagine that other driver. So I'm going to drive, and then you're going to drive.
Right.
So basically, once you fall behind 20 spots, then you're going to pull in, and I jump in and fucking pull back up to the front of the. Okay, thanks.
And if I don't
Sounds
win,
wonderful.
then you fire me?
Then I get fired because you suck for half the race.
And you
Thanks.
save face. Got it.
Excellent. Sounds like a good idea. You can pay the next guy. He also recruits a team, like poaches a team of Formula One mechanics from like good race teams, like offers them twice their salary and poaches them.
Brilliant.
So it's brilliant if you have the money. And for these guys, they're like, sure, why not? What the fuck do I care? I'll go work for this jerk off
the rest
for twice
of the
money.
field's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, well, not the field. He's stealing them from Formula One. He's not even stealing them from the people around him. He's stealing better mechanics from the bigger race thing. So he's getting like going to really good Formula One teams and plucking people out of them that he likes.
Get my tire guy there. Get my lube guy there.
He heard from the driver, I like this guy. This guy's good over here. And they go, and if you have the money, you can go and cherry pick whoever you want. It's wild, yeah. It's like money. Wild, isn't it?
It's wild. You can,
weird, right?
You can buy your own championship? Is that what you're saying?
You can fucking buy people.
Yeah.
So this whole time he's got this whole crew now of people that work for him, his mechanics, his racers, promotions people, all these people. He flies them back and forth on the Concorde.
There's only one of those.
Yeah. Groups of 10 people. You know how fucking expensive the Concorde was when it was operational?
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's huge. Yeah, it's super fast. It's great. It's so expensive though, and he's flying 10 people at a time back and forth on the fucking Concorde. He's buying Ducati motorcycles for just gifts for his crew and shit. Wow. Like, here you go, guys. Run around on that. Like, he's pissing money away like a bastard. He buys for himself a $600,000 McLaren F1. Capable of 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
It's so fast.
They're so fast.
They're so rad, though.
They're ridiculous. Yeah. They're fun to watch. Yeah. Like you'd watch a cartoon or,
James Bond.
Or James Bond or something silly like that. They're so fucking silly, these cars. They're not even like top speed of 230 miles an hour.
Absurd.
That's ridiculous.
For nothing.
That's faster than NASCAR, right? In the same ballpark.
They're doing about 180, 190.
Oh, so 230 is fucking
much
fast.
faster.
Yeah, that's very fucking fast. Yeah, he's buying all this shit, like all these crazy things, and including for himself. He's a car guy, obviously. Yeah. If you're a rich guy and the first thing you do is go start a race team, clearly you're a car dude and you're very interested in that. He also buys some things for himself. 3 Aston Martins. Yeah. They're easy over there.
Those are 120 each, right?
They can be. I don't know back then.
It's a pretty nasty expensive car.
I do know 2 Ferraris will cost you. He has 2 Ferraris.
Those are expensive.
Those are pricey, I know for a fact. 4 Mercedes. Because why not? You got to have. They're your beat around vehicle, I guess.
Steep as shit too.
Yeah, a Jaguar.
Yeah,
and then also the Benetton Formula One racing car that he bought also. So this is like what's in his driveway at home, or these cars, fleet of cars, like fucking.
He's like 50 Cent.
He's like 50 Cent, or like a cool Jay Leno.
Right.
Hey, you want to take a look at my Studebaker? Right. Not really.
Want to see the Levi's van? Absolutely not.
No, I really
want
don't.
Nothing to do with that car.
I got a 1937, and it's just a big block of metal. But look at it, great.
Doesn't run yet.
Want to drive in my Duesenberg? Nope. No, I don't. Don't want to listen to you. Don't want to hear your voice. Don't want to see you on TV. Go away.
I don't want to hear about Maven, who nobody knows what she even looks like.
I would like to introduce you. Sit down, Jay, for 1 second. It's amazing. We've been working on it for the past couple thousand years.
Right.
It's a fabric that's not denim. Look at that.
Enjoy this.
Anything. It's wild, right? Just put it on. You're going to fucking...
I'm going to introduce you to 1980s. Here is silk. Try that.
He's gonna go, my nipples have been chafed for 45 years. I was wondering why. I guess I'm wearing denim all the time.
This is so much softer.
Jeez. I got denim on my nipples. It's chafing. Now I get it,
He likes the clothing.
Nothing but silk from now on.
The era of vehicle he drives.
That's what it is, yeah. Yeah, he needs to look like a 30s fucking, like, small town garage mechanic. Right. Like, he'd pull up and he'd be wiping grease off a wrench in his coveralls. Howdy, what's the problem, mister? Like, that's how he dresses. What the fuck are you doing? You have like $800 million. Right. Fucking.
Somebody tell that man he's not poor.
Yeah.
Does his accountant wake him up every day and go, today might be the day that you're poor?
Oh my God, Jay. Oh, no, you're good. You still have $800 million. I'm sorry.
You haven't spent a dime of Tonight Show money yet.
You're wearing $40 sneakers from Walmart. What are you doing?
Take off the New Balance, Jay.
Jesus fucking Christ, Jay Leno. Put some goddamn half-decent, comfortable clothes on.
There's a man. That might have been the first evacuation of shame. He has none. He does not care.
Oh, he doesn't care at all.
Zero.
No.
Zero.
No.
Buddy cop with Mr. Miyagi, sign me up.
Don't care.
I'll be a laughing stock. It's stupid. I'm in.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Doritos. Sounds good. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's an asshole.
He doesn't care. No, I don't like him.
No.
I just don't. I never have.
I cannot stomach a second of Jay Leno.
And that might just be because we're comedians. Maybe. I mean, people out there might like him, whatever, but like, as comedians, I look at that guy, I'm like, ugh. That's the shit we're trying to purge out of fucking comedy for 25 years so people will come back. Is that shit. that same.
And it's not just.
And I mean people who aren't 65, like fucking, you know what I mean?
And it's not just the style of comedy does. So I'm sure that fits somewhere. It's just the make fun of everything.
Yeah.
Except you say it about me and I'm a cunt about it.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jay.
Yeah, that too.
Just to be able to have some humility. You have $800 million.
Yes.
And you sold your soul.
It doesn't matter. And the other thing too is the thing that pisses me off is he's a skilled comedian.
Right.
Like, have you ever seen a stand-up?
So good.
He's a fucking skilled. He's so good, and he chooses to use that to talk to the dumbest fucking people he can. He uses that and just takes it down so far.
Yeah.
He's like Gordon Ramsay. He's like, just want to make chicken strips today. I don't know why. I just feel like I'll bread them and just fry them. You know, I don't know why. I just want chicken strips. Like, it's not. Like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Stop fucking joking down, you asshole.
You're actually really good at this.
Yeah.
Work hard.
You'd be amazing if you would stop being a fucking hacky old fart.
And, you know, and to his credit, why work hard when the payday to not
It
is
doesn't
there?
matter. Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe if you have that kind of money, you just don't even care. You're just
why
making jokes.
work
You're
hard?
like, what happened? That's a shit joke? Yeah, all right, great.
The check cleared? I'm in.
I just bought 8 Model Ts. You want to look at them? Like, okay, sure. I guess everything's fine.
The
now.
last 8 that run.
That's it.
I own them.
I got them all. I actually bought Henry Ford. He's frozen. I put him in one of those Judge Dredd chambers, and we're just going to stick him up in my garage. People can come take a look at him and think, Henry Ford's got a little dick than I thought he did. That's amazing. Little dick, big lot of cars. You know what I mean?
You know, he was buried in clothes, but we took those off, and I'm wearing them.
I'm wearing them right now. These are the clothes Henry Ford had on. These are the ones I wear every day.
That's why he's naked.
He had some New Balance and a denim shirt. That's what he wore. Also, when you get him out of the casket, chafed nipples as well. I tell you, denim. What are you gonna do? Fucking people. Okay, Jay Leno.
Sorry, Jay.
So
not sorry, Jay.
Sorry, not sorry. So he's out there doing his fucking thing. Here is what a reporter for British GT said, quote, James Munroe launched his British GT effort for 1998 with a long-tail McLaren F1 and a glitzy event featuring supermodels and pop stars. So that's what we're talking about here. He gets into the actual races this year, and this fucking guy is racing. There's one race at Silverstone. I don't know what it is. This is the 1999 season. Mm-hmm. And judging by the dates, they tend to go like, it looks like spring through early summer.
Yeah.
Looks like they run like April through June.
Okay.
In that ballpark.
Well, the worst they're going to get is a little bit of drizzle. Is that what that
I
is?
guess. I think it's maybe for weather, or maybe that's other racing leagues are different ones.
Okay.
'Cause if you're a newer one, you probably have to slot yourself when there isn't other racing going on, right. I would assume.
And it snows like a bastard in England, right?
No.
They don't get snow?
They get some snow, but
Okay.
it's their climate is basically like Seattle's.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just a lot of rain, snow sometimes, but mostly it's going to be 40 and rainy in the winter rather than fucking 20 and snowy. Okay. You know, that sort of shit.
I know English weather based on Disney. That's
based on Disney. It's just based on cartoons.
Yeah. I see snow in windows and shit.
Yeah. No, it does snow. It does snow in England, but it's not like I said, it's like Washington State, basically. Okay. Like Seattle's a good way to put it. When I'm talking to English people, it's what they've told me. So this race, this seems to be his first race that I can fucking find of him. He runs his McLaren. There's other McLarens in this race too. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Two other McLarens in this race. It's mostly Porsches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Porsche 911s, Porsche 934, a bunch of Porsche 911 GT2s.
Yeah.
By the way, the one I saw was a GT3
yeah.
at that place, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
I want to know what that extra bar on that back is.
Whoa, it's expensive.
Yeah. It's probably everything.
I didn't want to do. I didn't want to look at it.
The entire car is different. The
yeah,
body, the motor, everything.
I did look at it, and I was like, no matter how much money I have, I could never drive that because you would need to butter me to get me into to get me out of it. I couldn't fit. It's so small. My legs would be up over my head. Looks like a terrible. Not that I would even think to drive a Porsche, but. if I could, and had the desire to. So this race, they are the number 2 car in this race, and numbers don't seem to be. If there's 13 racers, there's a few more, but the numbers go from 1 to 65.
Yeah.
It could be anything you want.
Yeah.
They are the number 2 car, and they come in 5th in this race.
Really?
Goodwin is their other driver, and Munroe. They come in 5th in this race. Not too fucking shabby. It's, what is this? What is the time here? 52 minutes. So they are, they're like a minute behind the winner.
That's pretty great.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
For a guy who
just bought his way
sold a
into
computer
this.
company and fucking, that's not bad. I don't know how much he drove. It doesn't tell you how much each driver drove, but still, fuck it. The next one I found here is the British GT Championship in Snetterton, which sounds very British.
Yeah.
By the way, there's like 2 more of these and then there's no more sports whatsoever. So, he does this race, and in this race, a couple other McLarens, a bunch of Porsches, a Venturi 400. What the fuck is that?
It's very similar to these.
They're all one of those, like a supercar looking.
Yeah,
okay.
It's something nuts that we'll never own or buy or probably ever see.
No shit, that is wild. And what about a Lister?
I don't know what that
Lister
is.
Storm.
That sounds like I can see it, something similar to it. It looks like an Aston Martin, kind of. Like an Aston Martin race car.
Well, first place is a Lister Storm GTL,
That's
somebody
what
driving one of those. And then second place is Goodwin and Munroe.
Well, second fucking
place, which is pretty fucking impressive, I gotta say.
But if you're armed with a McLaren, James,
that's not bad.
You better not lose.
They're only 50 seconds behind the winner.
Impressive.
That's pretty good shit. So it's not bad. Yeah, you're in the McLaren, but there's other McLarens and Porsches and Listers and Venturis and all this shit.
Okay.
So second place. The party in that night must have been wild.
Oh.
He was probably popping champagne and flying people back and forth over the ocean just for just to do it.
Just because we did.
Guys, fly over and come right back. Just come on.
Let's make it one more round.
Don't even get off the plane. Just stay seated.
Let's see if the pilot's tired. He's not tired.
We're going to do it.
We're going again.
Let's fucking do it here. So the next one I found is British GT Brands Hatch. I don't know Brands Hatch.
I don't know
what the fuck that is. But Brands Hatch, by the way, the last one, the track was 3.141 kilometers. That I do know. This race, I don't know how long it is. But this race, the winner, again, is a Lister Storm. It's the same guy. This Bailey / Campbell Walter. Those are the 2 drivers. They seem to win everything here in this Lister. But what is it? Let's see here. Munroe's in this race, too. 4th place is Munroe and Goodwin.
Oh, no.
So they're in 4th place.
Yeah, but he dropped out of the podium.
Yeah, these are all top 5 finishes.
Not bad.
Not too shabby. He's in his McLaren, a McLaren, kind of the exact same car, finished ahead of them too. So there's that. And then finally, I see this is on July 11th, 1999. He is at the British GT Championship in Silverstone, which is a track they raced on earlier in the season. They must have multiple races here. This race, they come in 6th with their McLaren. 3 Listers in the top 5.
Wow.
These Lister Storms must be bad motherfuckers.
Apparently.
And Cintura? What the fuck is that?
CENT?
SINTURA.
No idea.
Cintura S99 Judd.
Never heard of it.
What the fuck is that? I've never heard of that too. Oh, there's an American car in here.
What is it?
Someone's running a Viper.
Really?
Yeah, they came in 14th place with their Viper. So yeah, 1 American car in the field.
Jesus.
So yeah,
that car is just too heavy, I think, for that.
I don't know.
That's a heavy fucking car.
Yeah, I don't know. So it lost. It came in 14th place. It did beat some other shit. Beat a couple of Porsches and a Venturi, and but I don't know what the hell racing. I don't know shit about this.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they do to these cars.
Yeah, there's got to be something extra done to that.
Who knows?
You got to lighten that thing up because it's a big fucking V10 in that thing.
Yeah. Those are
that
big.
Viper V10 is heavy and big.
They must just replace that whole deal probably.
Every
and keep
race,
the frame.
right?
Just keep the frame, I would think,
just
right?
toss all the other shit out.
Yeah, we don't need this garbage here. So then he's in another race that I could find. It's called 6 Hours of Fuji. And this race they're racing a different car. They're racing a Porsche 997 GT3.
Holy shit! Hold on.
Which is
I gotta get my glasses.
goddamn
that looks impressive.
Bonkers looking. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a 911 looking thing with a big fucking wing.
So cool.
It's dope looking. Yeah, and it's.
I want to drive one of those. Is there a school that lets you drive those?
I don't know. I'll tell you. I'll tell you afterwards where you can go actually drive one.
That is
You
rad.
can drive it around Scottsdale.
What? Oh shit!
Take it up Scottsdale
They got
Road, Jimmy.
nasty exhaust on them too that I can rev it up.
Oh yeah, we'll talk afterwards.
Right.
I'll tell you how to do this. So, yeah, but this comes in 8th place.
Okay,
so that's 8 out of 10.
Why are you dropping out of your McLaren when
It's not great. Different drivers too. It's James and Paul Ip from Hong Kong, and then Christian Reed from Denmark.
Got it.
Those are the 3 drivers. I think part of the rules is you have to have drivers from different countries in the same car. It's some weird race like that. It's some international
I like
thing.
that.
Yeah, it's some international thing. So he is feeling himself.
Sure.
I mean, he's out there racing. There's adrenaline, I'm sure. In racing, there's adrenaline.
Nuts, yeah.
Now, compare that with the adrenaline of, say, running a computer company. You can't compare those. So he's just got to be tasting adrenaline at this point. And then, I can. Yeah,
it's like a 9-volt battery on your tongue.
Yeah. Oh, that's still fresh. It's good. It's good still.
Yeah,
that got me.
That kind of adrenaline.
That's how he's fucking feeling, man. He's got to be feeling so good about himself, and he is. And eventually, he's on there. He's in magazines, because there's racing magazines, and they include him. He's got hot cars and all this shit. So, plus, he's an interesting character. A lot of these guys are boring race guys, and he's like, I sold my computer company and now I'm a gentleman racer. I mean, if you're looking at the field of 15, you're a reporter and you go, who do I want to do a story about? He's the interesting guy.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, period. That's it. So they talk to him, all these different magazines, one magazine called Boys Toys. They do a whole profile on him in there.
That's a scary fucking mag in America.
It sounds gross. It's dripping with jizz.
Yeah, it is.
But over there, it means cars and shit. So they do a whole profile on him over there on this thing, just who he is and how much racing he's into, and he loves racing and all this shit. He even does an interview on BBC Two called The Cars Star. Is this show they were doing? The Cars Star. It's a show about car, star. So the car is the star, and they're trying to do it's a racing show, and they interview him on this show about cars and his car in particular, and his other cars that he's got at home. It's a car show.
Yeah.
And they're talking to him it's on BBC Two.
Okay.
Grace.
Oh boy.
That's Grace, okay?
Oh no.
Very, very, it's a hard grace, we're going to call it. Sometimes we have a soft decline.
Yeah.
This is a cliff. Hardcore Grace. Grace brick wall is what he just hits, okay? At this point here, I will let this reporter tell you about it here. Here's a reporter here's the quote. All too soon, though, it unraveled. Particularly so when a senior executive of his employer's, publisher McGraw-Hill, spotted Munroe, one of their accountants, racing a McLaren on TV.
Get out of here.
Yeah, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Ain't who he says he is, I'll tell you that fucking much right now. Number one, his name isn't James Munroe.
What is it?
It is James Alexander Hayden Cox.
Oh, no.
He is a complete fucking fraud.
Wow.
Is not who he says he is at all, is not where he came from at all.
He works in the accounting department.
He's an accountant for a publishing firm. A pretty staid English publishing firm called McGraw-Hill.
Oh, no.
And so that is, as far as British life goes, you are about as boring as it gets.
Yeah.
You're a publishing company back then, very safe, very boring, and he's an accountant not even on the creative side. He's doing numbers for a nerdy...
He's figuring out whether or not we can be creative this month.
Yeah,
that's
guys. It's a little tight to be creative.
Stop being creative. We can't afford it.
It costs a lot to be creative, guys. Stop it right now. He is.
They saw him on TV.
One of the directors of the company went, "Why is our accountant on TV with the McLaren?
Right?
How does he have what the fuck is going on?" They started asking around, and they started becoming obviously suspicious. Like, that's him. That's not his name.
Yeah.
There's a different name under him than what they know him as. But they're like, who knows? Maybe who the fuck knows? They don't know. Maybe his family's super wealthy and he does this on the side and doesn't want to tell his business people because they think it'll affect his business life.
Right.
But they become a little suspicious, put it that way. He is the the UK accounting, the director of UK accounting for McGraw-Hill. Wow. Now here is an article that James Munroe tells exactly what he did and why.
Oh, my God.
It's from pistonheads.com, which I'm there every week normally for just, my news, my Piston news I need to get. But
it's also another thing in America doesn't mean the same thing. That sounds gross.
That also sounds gross. It sounds like it's either that or it's a Detroit Pistons fucking fan blog.
It's either that or the Pistons fan blog wishes they could have got it before this Golden Shower website.
Before this awful, disgusting site had it here.
Those heads getting pissed in.
Oh my God. So well, let's talk. Let's hear from James and says, because his name is James, that's his first name. He says, quote, "To the age of around 30, I had been as law-abiding as the next man, following the usual route of the aspirational classes of the 1990s.
Yeah.
He's a fucking dork.
Yeah.
He's an accountant and
he's furious.
Yeah. He hates that he is Johnny Average. He's just and he's not average. He's upper middle class. I mean, he's not,
he's a director.
But I mean,
he's doing fine.
Yeah. But he's not like, this crazy wealth. He can't do whatever he wants.
He's not flying the Concorde.
He can have a nice house and a nice car and take care of his kids and all that, but that's not good enough for him. He needs more. He needs more and more and more. He says, quote, "Married, fledgling fatherhood underway." So he's married. He's got kids.
What?
That doesn't do anything for him.
Okay, keep going.
Married and kids. He's like, what? Boring. He comes home with his glasses from his publishing company, his boring little office, and sees his wife. Has his boring little dinner with his boring ass kids, and he's
Bangers and mash.
"Fuck this! I need more." I need more.
Oh, my God.
He says, quote, "Regulation, quote, executive home in the leafy Thames Valley." So, he's talking about had a nice house in a nice suburb neighborhood and things that people would kill for this life. They would kill for it. There's so many people out there who would be like, I would fucking kill if I could live in a nice leafy neighborhood and take care of my wife and kids in an office job every day. That'd be terrific. Or take care of my husband and kids or whatever the fuck. But not him. He's not okay with it. He said, in the leafy Thames Valley, and stuttering toward the dizzy heights of the anonymous echelons of middle management within the finance profession. He's that guy.
That word. He hates the word anonymous.
Yep. He said, think of how many different things he said in there. He said anonymous and middle management in the same sentence. So he sees that all as one big, mush of shit.
Being anonymous and being the guy that shit rolls into, and I have to push it onto other people.
And you're the accountant. You're not getting credit. If your publishing house puts out a huge book that's a big, the accountant did a great job.
Right.
Nope. He's just a boring guy in the back office. You don't get any more anonymous than an accountant in a publishing company. And
figuring out if we can go hardback or soft.
Middle management, and he's just bored. I guess the everyday monotony of the whole thing just drove him down.
Paperback, that was the word.
Oh, there you go. Soft.
I did just say I don't read, so whatever.
He doesn't know. He said, "The seeds of my enduring passion for cars were sown early. The odd Athena poster of a Lambo or a Testarossa adorning a teenage bedroom wall." Yeah. What kid didn't have a Lamborghini poster or a Ferrari poster on their wall? We all did.
It was the best.
Yeah. Watching in awe as something red, loud, and very Italian rumbled along the street. So he's always been into cars. He's always had a hankering for them, I guess, but, it just didn't fit into his lifestyle.
Breaking news, James. Everybody has your feelings,
That's
sir.
what I mean. Who doesn't see that when you see a Ferrari? You're like, whoa, look at that. I'd like to sit in that and go down the street.
That's the point of that fucking
terrific.
car.
Yeah. That's why you buy that car.
Right.
You can't drive 200 miles an hour on the street.
No.
The fuck are you taking a Ferrari where you can you're not getting it out of second gear in the city. You're doing it so people can go, whoa, that's it. That's the only fucking reason why you're driving that goddamn thing.
That car sells itself. I bet there are very few Lamborghini salesmen. You don't have to talk me into it.
No, you come there, you want a Lamborghini. Right. You're not let me show you this feature.
Right.
It's a fucking Lamborghini. Sit in it. Start it up. Hear that? Feel that?
That's what it does.
You want it or not? No? Okay, great. Someone else will buy it tomorrow. Get the fuck out of here then. That's what they tell you. No negotiations, no dealing. You want one, you buy one, period.
The Portland Trailblazers coming by tomorrow to buy 12 of them.
Don't need
do you want one? No?
No.
Get the fuck off my lot.
Hit the bricks, asshole. Tell your story walking, Chief. Go on. Not driving, as it was.
I need Aldridge seeing you here.
No, I'm going to fucking embarrass. You're going to embarrass me in front of the Trailblazers. Is that what you're trying to do? Is that what you want?
Right.
Want to embarrass me in front of the Portland Trail? Fine. Yeah, so he's doing that. He said, quote, dreaming that would be me sometime. Tires were kicked aplenty as I became a regular visitor at many of the local dealerships, peddling this tale or that just for a whiff or of a test drive. So he'd come in and pretend he was like a hot shot.
Hilarious.
So he could test drive fucking Ferraris and shit, which is pretty funny. Lots of people have done that.
Doing
by
that,
the way.
do you dress up to do that, or do you
No.
dress down to do that? You dress like a piece of shit?
You dress down.
Yeah.
You dress down?
Yeah.
I would dress down, but with brand new sneakers on.
Yes.
Down with nice sneakers,
Yeah.
and you get out and act like you don't care.
Right.
And they'd be like, he's probably got millions of dollars.
Who is this?
Nope, he has one new pair of sneakers.
And no dollars.
He spent $60 on Pumas and just kept them in the box till now.
And that's all he has.
That's the fact. That's how I would go into it, though. That's only my theory. I don't know. Because I feel like too much, it would look like you're trying to...
Right.
Yeah.
We get it, dude. You had some money at some point,
You
but we
bought
don't
a
know
suit.
if you still
Terrific.
have it.
Yeah, you bought a suit.
Right.
Great. Maybe your aunt died. You just came from the funeral. Wonderful.
That's how Jay Leno buys them.
Yeah, that's it. Hate to have him as a pallbearer. He shows up in a denim fucking... You know anybody in a denim suit fucking carrying your coffin?
I want your shirt the same brand as your jeans.
No. Fuck. So, yeah, he would go into all of these trying to get test drives and shit like that, which just kind of sounds pathetic, but I could see people doing it. That's the male equivalent of a woman who has no plans on getting married going in and trying on wedding dresses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being like, no, the date's like next year, but we're not sure. We're picking it out still, but I just want to find the dress. And yeah, I can see myself getting married. This is the male version of that.
You're not even wearing an engagement ring,
Nope.
lady.
It was Always Sunny when they did that. Dee would come in, and finally the girl's like, the salesperson, she's like, you've been coming in here every weekend for a year trying on dresses. I'm going to have to see some proof that you're actually getting married at this point. Like, this is getting ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
Dee's like, just go get me 5 more dresses to try on. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. This is the guy version of that. Like, oh, someday.
Yeah.
Except you might actually get married someday. The chances that you're going to be driving a fucking Ferrari,
Right.
way slimmer.
There's very few people going, will you drive a Ferrari with me?
Yeah, they're going to go drive the Ferrari on their own. They don't need you. So, he said, yet it started to grow into something more. I was allowing myself to be seduced by all that these cars represented. Some sort of life.
He's blaming the car.
He's blaming the car.
What?
I went in there and they talked to me. I could hear them. You start them up and they go, James, change your name and lie to everybody.
Put your ass on me.
Get on me.
Put your ass on me.
That's right. Put the premium in me. Yeah. That's better.
How did he?
Fill me up, James. Fill me up.
How did he do this?
I don't know. He just tried to blame it on the cars.
He's a guy caught on To Catch a Predator going, yeah, but she wanted it. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No.
She was looking for it.
You can't tell me a 13-year-old told you to fuck her and
she
you're going to
said I
do
was
it.
sexy.
So he's blaming the car.
He's blaming the cars, which
Unbelievable.
is such a weird... They were talking to me. It's a weird thing to do. Blame the cars.
Dodge designed that truck for me.
Yeah, that sounds like our other guys when they talk about drugs. They talk about that like, it's that fucking crack, man. It was talking to me. I was like, I needed to smoke some more. How many times have we had people say that on this show?
Right.
He's saying the same shit, but with cars.
About a car,
Which is a totally different thing. He said, I wanted what I thought the drivers had, the power, the success, and most of all, the image. They became a symbol of something that I felt was missing in my life and had to attain, regardless of the cost. Yeah, most people see that, they want that, but then they dismiss it from their mind as, I don't know, I'm in my 30s, I'm married, I have kids, and I'm a fucking accountant for a publishing firm. I'm probably not going to be a race car driver with a crazy fun image and driving for... Probably not going to happen for me. Most people instantly dismiss that, and that's that, and they go about their lives. He goes,
also, I don't...
There's got to be a way.
I don't have the money to meet
That's the
Paul
thing.
Burns or whoever that pop star was.
I don't remember what his name was either. Hayes.
Or Citrus. What was the girl's name?
Caprice. I remember that.
I was close.
Yeah, citrus. It starts with a C.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know either of those people, and I imagine it's hard to get in their company.
But probably, yeah. You probably have to pay them money.
Right.
I would assume, especially if you want them to like hang out at your fucking stupid car party that they don't know shit about.
PR firms are expensive.
Oh yeah, very expensive.
Yeah.
So he's pissing money away. So yeah, he says regardless of the cost, the early signs were not good. I hocked myself to the hilt just to, albeit briefly, own an MK2 Golf GTI 16 valve, a fucking Volkswagen, a Volkswagen little shitty station wagon.
A GTI.
That's a real fast, like souped up race version of it.
It's like $32,000.
Yeah, this one I think a little bit more.
In 99?
In 99, because this is a
40?
specific model, though. I think it's a little higher up.
GTI what?
MK2 Golf GTI 16 valve.
Okay.
He said, sadly ending its days stolen. So, yeah.
And somebody stole it.
Not only stole it, sadly ending its days stolen, ransacked, and lovingly abandoned on bricks on Wentworth Golf Course.
They took a Golf to the golf course.
Yeah, they took a Golf to the golf course. I was just going to say, you see the irony here, right?
That is genius.
They took the Golf.
Yeah.
I looked at you like you heard that. Okay?
They put the car on the golf course.
They put the Golf on the golf course. That's on purpose. Yeah. They didn't say the only place we can go is the golf course. Right. Oh, cool. Weird, right? No, they were like...
No, that's like stealing OJ's truck and leave it in a horse corral.
That's what I mean. That's why I like British people right there. Because even the criminals are like, it would be funny. We have to leave it somewhere, right? What if we leave it on the golf, Whereas here, they wouldn't care. They just leave it on the side of the road in the gutter somewhere. Whereas there, they're like, this will be fucking hilarious. And it is.
On cinder blocks with no wheels.
And we're laughing about it now. So you know what?
They won.
Bravo.
21 years later.
Bravo. This is like 25. 25 years later, your joke is landing. If it didn't land then, you know what? It landed now. Maybe the cops didn't think it was so funny, and Munroe probably didn't think it was funny, but,
We get it.
We get it.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so...
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
He says, further, the debts mounted and the bailiffs circled so that I could have that car on the driveway. So he's just sacrificing everything so he can drive this car. Mm-hmm. He's in debt. People, bill collectors want money from him and shit like that. He said, then the usual banal examples of company cars came and went. The A to Z of, quote, small executives. I dreamt of the day when I could put something special in my garage, but it never materialized. Each day it seemed more remote. Every day. He said,
I feel it.
Usual banal. He said he had like a Beamer.
Yeah.
small executive cars, the
3 Series.
The 3 Series.
Not feeling great about
nice pulling in. It's just, that's what I mean. It's a great life that lots of people would kill for. And he's like, it's just boring. It's too comfortable, I think. That's the thing. If he had a struggle in there, he wouldn't think about this because he'd be like, oh shit, like my kid has fucking lupus or something. I don't know. Like if he had a struggle or if he had like some sort of financial difficulty or anything, but it's pretty easy and he's bored. So,
being born to white trash and not having anything makes having a vehicle with gas in it feel great, no matter what the fuck car it is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I'm so happy.
He never got that. He's just always been bored and wanting something else. Each day it seemed more remote. What?
Fuck you, man.
Dude, he makes it sound like this is how, people who are like 38 and they still want to have kids and they're trying and they're like, each day it just seems more remote. No.
He's even already a step better than the guy from Fight Club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That guy had an apartment full of IKEA shit.
Yeah.
This guy's got a BMW.
He's doing great. Yeah. He's not, he doesn't have an apartment. He has a nice house and a BMW and a family and he's doing fine.
Yeah.
He said, for many, that life of mine would have seemed idyllic. Yeah, motherfucker. He says, yet for me, it was not enough.
No.
Not enough. He said, you may wonder how I went from being a rather disenchanted middle manager to a fully blown fraudster.
Wonder?
Well, it's interesting.
Oh, boy, I can't wait for this story.
Perhaps I had a breakdown. I had let everything push me even closer to the edge, or ever closer to the edge, I apologize. I resented so much of what my life had become and felt that I deserved something so much better than what I had achieved. Why?
Yeah.
You didn't...
Why do you deserve?
I could see if you were starving and you were like, God damn it, I'm working my ass off and I can't even fucking feed my kids. This is bullshit. That's a different story.
Right. But he's living a fine life and he's like, I'm supposed to be unbelievably rich.
Why can't I feel cool too and have a Ferrari? Because that's all it's about, the image. He just wants to feel cool.
Yeah.
That's what he's been missing his whole life and he's trying to buy it.
Welcome to the human race, motherfucker.
That's life, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
This is the type of asshole that would have shot up a school in 11th grade if he had access to an assault rifle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
This is an incel's...
My girlfriend just wasn't hot enough. Like, sure, I had a girlfriend, but, I wanted to fuck her friend, and she didn't want to.
This is an incel's opinion of pussy based on life.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
Now, let's let it go on a little more here. I resented so much of what my life had become and felt that I deserved something so much better than all I had achieved. I hated my job. Quote, I wanted revenge on those whom I felt had done me wrong. He's literally an angry nerd.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. He wants to fucking show all those people who told him he wasn't cool. Right. Look how cool I am now, motherfucker, even though I'm not.
Right.
But I'm going to pretend and show you. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, that's what you would imagine the psychology would be, but for someone to come out and just say it that bluntly, you're like, wow, that is so fucking transparent.
He's got the same attitude as like Kevin Durant. Only difference is Kevin Durant went to work every day and cultivated his talent a little better.
Talent and drive, and this guy's like, just want to be something I'm not. Nah. Fucking bitching.
This is unbelievable.
He said, most of all, I wanted a way out of that meaningless existence. I wonder how it was like to talk to his wife about this. Just shrugging shoulders like, the fuck, meaningless? I got to sit here all the time. Meaningless exists. Thanks a lot. Jesus Christ.
I guarantee you this was a conversation at the house a lot.
Oh, yeah. I just need to do more.
Right.
She's like, why?
What?
This is what the kids are well taken care of, and we have a nice life. We went on vacation last winter, and he's like, no, God damn it, you fucking bitch. I'm not cool. I need to show the guys from the 10th grade what the fuck I've turned into.
God damn it, Susie,
satisfied.
I don't even have a nickname.
Nothing. No, uncool that is. I'm uncool, man. I wanted revenge on those whom I felt had done me wrong. That's the line of the whole fucking thing here.
And all right, we'll get to it, I'm sure. I can't wait to hear it.
That is the line, man. Then he says, quote, most of all, I wanted to, that's where I was there. I won't bore you with all the mechanics of how I managed to execute the frauds. I will later on, but that is a matter of record and for others to pick over, like me and you. I won't tell you the details of my crime, crimes. Oh, we will. Don't worry.
We'll pick over.
We got you covered, James. It's all right. Check it out here. He said,
birds on a carcass.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be, what's in there? Oh, shell company. Nice job. He said, quote, rest assured, with some experience of the accounting world, the stuff of those quiet water cooler, how would you do it if you could conversations became relatively easy to enact and sustain. And so the charade began. So, yeah, I guess accountants, the same way people would be like, hey, if you get away with murder, how would you do it? And people have like an idea of, well, I would kill someone like that. It's, bullshit, you're not serious.
Right.
It's just bullshit thing.
It's Michael Bolton from The Office going, I could fucking rob this company
That's
blind.
exactly what it is. And that's what he's saying. It went from how would you do it if you could to ha 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 to maybe I can do it.
Right.
Why not? He said, despite that empty promise to myself that it would, quote, just be the once to prove a point to them all. What point are you proving? That's what I think is amazing. He wants to steal a bunch of money just to prove a point to them all, but he doesn't want to get caught. So how would you prove anything unless you got caught?
Well, I mean, yeah, because proving it to them is showing your hand.
Yeah, look,
I
took
have
this from you.
Unbelievable car.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but you can't do it. So what's the fucking point of it? That's what doesn't make any sense. What point are you proving?
I'm going to prove to you guys that I can kill somebody by killing this guy.
Yeah, I'm going to kill this guy.
But,
and then
don't tell anybody.
I'll be in jail, but you'll know. Okay. So, he said, quote, the arrival of that first stolen amount, close to 50,000 pounds sitting in my bank account, opened my eyes to a world of possibilities. Yeah, one that I was more than willing to enter. There was never a chance that the money would idly sit there accumulating interest ready for my retirement. It was a passport to the new me. The new me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't see this as, oh, good, I'll pay for my kids' college and I'll, he looked this as,
maybe I'll use this money to pay off that old golf.
No, I'm going to piss it away on more. He said a few lies here, a chunk of deceit there, and the initial cover stories were put in place to ease my passage. It did not matter who was on the receiving end of the crap that I was dishing out. The plans were being executed ruthlessly, and nobody was going to be allowed to get in the way. Makes it sound like he was like fucking, offing people who were getting in the path of his... No, he wasn't offing people at all. Like he really wants an image, this guy. Even the way he talks about it sounds like he wants to be like this cross between like this cool, like, dangerous race car driver / kind of mob bossy, like I'm a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, don't get in my way, I'll shit on people. Meanwhile, he's just an accountant who stole some money and bought race cars. Like, It's not as he's got a very inflated self-worth and everything else. So he says the plans are being executed ruthlessly. No one was allowed to get in the way. He said, suddenly, the shopping list of my fantasies came very clearly into view.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Sitting splendidly atop was something red and adorned with that prancing horse badge that I so desired.
You betcha.
Ferrari. He wants a red fucking Ferrari.
Yep.
He said those empty weekends of tire kicking, dreaming of the unattainable, were no more. The lure of the Ferrari dealership in nearby Egham was almost magnetic. Rather than the usual nervous shuffle onto the forecourt to stare enviously at what lay behind the plate glass facade, this time I strode confidently into the showroom with pockets stuffed full of someone else's cash. Wow.
He came in with money in his pocket and said, I'd like to buy that car.
That one, please. The red one, please. That's fucking wild. He just decided I'm going to do it, and then it sat there. They didn't as soon as he transferred money to himself, nobody came and arrested him or anything. So he was like, must be okay.
Guess it's mine.
Guess I can do this. Guess it's fine. So he kept doing it. Stuff with someone else's cash. He describes the experience here. He said the salesman could have been straight out of the nearby discount carpet retailer, to be honest. I expected so much more.
Just a sleaze bucket.
Yeah, just a guy like, hey, you want to buy this car, right? Like, rather than you would expect, when you buy a Ferrari, you would expect, you go in there and they're
Put your feet up.
There's a buffet.
Yeah.
Like a nice spread.
You don't need to eat anything. Coffee.
Yeah, some single malt, some scotch, something.
Somebody's going to rub your feet while we do the paperwork for you.
Yeah,
right.
But no.
So what's your social? We fill it all out. You don't have to touch anything.
No, geez, but he said, no, I expected so much more. A morsel of sycophantic toadying. He says he wants to get his ass kissed.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. This is all he wants. He wants to feel like a guy.
At least a morsel.
Yeah, a morsel of what it's like to be a guy who can walk into a Ferrari dealership and have his ass kissed. And a morsel of sycophantic toadying, champagne, canapes perhaps. Minutes later, though, I was in the passenger seat as we test rode what would become my first taste of Ferraridom. My 348 TB Rosso Corsa and cream hide to go. So, yeah, he got himself a badass Ferrari. Yeah. So that is his first Ferrari. And he's upset that it wasn't a fancier. He wanted it to be like buying a wedding dress. Right. This is the male version because that's exactly what he had in mind. Is when you see on television in these fancy dress shops, women walk in and they're like champagne and they're sitting there eating. I don't know about that one. Get another one on. All their friends are like eating and drinking champagne.
They tell you how great you look in the corset top. Your tits look good in this one. Right.
Like they give a dozen women champagne and shit to buy one dress for a couple grand. This is like a fucking as much as a house. Can you kiss my ass a little?
My balls for a minute?
Kiss my ass a little. What the fuck?
Tell me how huge my cock looks in this.
So, yeah, he said he gets out in the test drive. He said a sedate exit onto the A30, the highway, and within a few miles, I was at the helm. Hell, it felt good. I was happily chugging along, basking in my newfound inflated ego, when the sales exec volunteered, "Go on, Mr. Munroe. The road is clear here. Put your foot down and see what she can really do."
Oh, boy.
Which would be fucking fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Try this car that isn't yours yet.
It's not yours. Go ahead. No, don't worry if you wrap it around a pole or kill somebody. You know how to, do you know how to drive a car very fast? A sports car like this, a supercar?
Certainly drive it like it isn't yours.
Just go ahead. Rent, like it's a rental. Beat the shit out of it. He said, "I'm not sure about the ethics of being encouraged to crack the 100-mile-an-hour plus mark down the dualed A30 south of Egham, but it was all that I had imagined and then some. Who cares about the gearbox and the clutch seemingly made of lead, the rattles and creaks and every other flaw you could imagine? I was driving a Ferrari, soon to be mine." So yeah, he just cared about that people saw him in a Ferrari and they go, "Oh, what a cool guy in a Ferrari."
Wow.
Why? What is that? Why is that worth something to you?
I got none of that. I got none of that in me. I mean, I like cool things.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have them maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if I would.
I wouldn't go out of my way for that, though.
No. I'm not stealing for it. I'll tell you that right now.
That's what I mean. Just so people will go, "Hey, look at him. He's cool." Like, what the fuck are you doing?
God,
it just seems so not a meaningful end to what you're going for. Like, it's not like money. Like, I can see if it's just money and I saved all this money and I'm going to fucking, me and my wife, when the kids go to college, we're going to fucking go down to an island somewhere and retire and have money. That's not what he's doing. It's just weird.
He's literally living nobody's dream. Nobody's dream is to save a bunch of money and buy a Ferrari.
No.
You know what I mean? Because your kids are like, I mean, eventually you got to have a vacation or do something.
When you buy a Ferrari, that's because you literally have nothing else to spend your money on.
Right.
That's to me when you would buy a Ferrari. Yeah. You're like, you have a house, you go on vacation, you have a car full, house full of shit you like, you have all this stuff, and you're like, maybe I'll get a Ferrari. It's not like you don't get a Ferrari and drive it to your 3-bedroom, 1,500 square foot house and you'd be like, all right, now work on the house. That's not how it works. Ferrari is last, like, I don't know, I just have so much money sitting around. I'm bored. I'm bored with it, to be honest with you.
And by the way, if there is somebody has a trailer with a Ferrari in the driveway, you're living life backwards.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it all wrong.
You have the trailer in the driveway of the house. That's what you do.
You're doing it all wrong.
You have a car that's the equivalent of a trailer, and you have a nice place to live. You can't do it the other way.
You go places of residence first.
Right.
Then cars.
You can't, I mean, I guess you can sleep in a I imagine it's uncomfortable, though.
I wouldn't want to sleep in a fucking Ferrari, probably.
There's a console down the middle. You can't lay.
No, you're just going to, probably doesn't go back very far.
No,
they don't want
the motor's right there.
They're not teaching you. It's not for comfort, goddammit.
No.
This is for speed. So he says, quote, a few days later, credit card flexed, and I was the proud and very dishonest owner of the car, spinning along the M25 amidst the admiring glances of the other drivers as I wound my way through the rush hour commute. I was a million miles away in my increasingly duplicitous world, courtesy of the dulcet tones of the Ride of the Valkyries pounding out from the CD player. He's literally fucking triumphant.
Yeah.
He's playing like Triumph shit. Wow.
Unbelievable. As he's devaluing the car all the way home.
As he's taking it through rush hour traffic. So what the fuck did he do exactly to do this? Well, he joined this company in 1995. Mm-hmm. Okay. This was, when he got this job as the director of accounting here.
It took him 4 years to hatch the master plan.
3.
Oh, boy.
So pretty quickly, he started setting up bogus companies. Mm-hmm. He set up several bogus companies listing their addresses as his home in Wokingham. Okay. That's what he was doing. And then he began paying invoices submitted by the companies. So he would bill the company from his made-up business, and then he's the accountant, so he would have to pay that account payable. So, yeah, somebody would send the bill, him, and then he would pay the bill.
He would send himself a bill and pay the bill.
And so it looks all legit. Yeah. If you look at the accounting, you go, well, all that money went out to companies that have but until you really looked at the actual transactions one by one, which takes companies years to fucking do usually. Right. That's why people get away with this shit for years. They know how to make it quiet.
Unbelievable.
They know how to keep it quiet. So yeah, he did that. One of the spokesmen for the company said, quote, he bought an F1 McLaren racing car and competed in a series of races in the GT championships. He bought a number of expensive, prestigious road cars along with several historic cars. He even funded his own racing team. The whole of his enterprise was funded by the unauthorized payments by McGraw-Hill.
That is so much money.
Oh, wait till you hear how much total.
McGraw-Hill is killing it.
Oh yeah, they're a big publishing firm, like a big one.
Yeah.
And so they had enough money to where you could have a few $1 million missing and not notice it. Yeah, he set up ghost companies, like I said, to his address and the whole deal, and he'd have emails that were fake, that were the whole deal. I mean, he set up a whole fraudulent thing, and it was the late 90s, so it was, if you knew computers and other people didn't, you could you could do shit that, you get away with some shit, basically.
How understanding is his wife?
Yeah, when he drove a Ferrari at home, wasn't she like,
what the fuck?
Where'd you get that? How did you get a McLaren for a British racing? I'm sure he lied and said he got investors.
But how did we not have a conversation about how that could better our fucking lives? We still owe money on a Golf, you asshole.
That is from the fucking, that's on the 14th green over there. We should probably deal with that. So, he set up, he bought Ferraris, Aston Martins, McLaren. They basically ended up, once their bosses saw him on TV doing that, they were like, well, that's weird. Why does he have a fake name? What the fuck's going on? Yeah. So let's look into this guy a little bit here. And they question 2 payments that were unauthorized, that were to his company, to James's company, and an internal audit was ordered, and that revealed more than 15 more unauthorized transactions that happened made by Munroe. Transactions ranging from £46,000 to £555,000.
Wow.
That's a fuckload of money in one transaction. 17 total transactions.
What kind of fucking shit is going on there that doesn't flag somewhere?
That is why, because it's going out not in a $3 million at once or something. If it goes out 46, these are payments they normally make to people.
Okay.
So it seems legit until you look into it. So, he said the bosses became suspicious over also the amount of sick time he was taking. He's fucking racing. He's taking all his sick leave, flying on the Concorde and all this shit.
He's supposed to be in the office.
He's supposed to be literally in the office, and he's flying on the Concorde, driving Ferraris up to his private fucking jet. Like, what are you doing?
He's in Boy Toy magazine.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. It's like at least fucking Lenny Dykstra had something to begin with, and then it fell apart, and he tried to piece it back together, and he was trying to, you know what I mean? Trying to make something. He had like a legit business that was big before he fucking defrauded people. But this is like, he never had shit, this guy.
He didn't even have shells to move around.
Yeah. I mean, like Lenny had, in Lenny's mind, I could see him having a feeling that, I can get this all back because I had a big business before this, so I know what I'm doing, and I'll get this back on its feet. So yeah, I need to fuck around now and be a little fraudulent, but in 6 months it'll be fine when I pay everybody back. This guy has no...
How is he going to pay it back?
Nope, this is just...
Zero.
Hope I get away with it forever.
Hope they don't notice.
Munroe sounds like a good name. Wow. So he's taking a bunch of sick leave. So they said, hey, why are you taking so much sick leave? This was before they saw him on television and everything. And he would give a bunch of excuses, obviously, why he's sick. Finally, he said that he suffered from a chronic kidney problem. And he didn't want to tell them because he didn't want them to think that he was unreliable medically and that sort of thing. But it's been hard on him, and he's been having to go in and out of the hospital with this chronic kidney problem. So, you know, if the company would be supportive, he'd be
ever so
grateful. Yeah. So, but another reason why they knew he was lying was he said that his son, because he has a son, his son was ill, very ill, like gravely ill, and was admitted to the Great Ormond Street Hospital. And that's why he wasn't at work, because he's at the hospital with his very not terminally, but like life-threateningly sick son at this hospital. So they're like, wow, that's crazy. So we'll talk about that in a second here. He basically, too, of all the money they get that he took later on, they're only going to be able to recover about a third of it, the company, too. So it's fucking gone.
It's spent.
Oh, it's spent, yeah. One of the spokesmen said, quote, as the director of accounting, he was responsible for the management of the payment system and had detailed knowledge of the payment process. So he even knew how to slow down things and put things in the back for later.
This is a bad hire.
He was in charge of it, yeah. He was fucking in charge of it, for God's sake. So this is crazy. But, the thing is, they also said, quote, he stole the money by means of forging documents, authorizing check payments into accounts controlled by himself. The proceeds were used to fund his love of motor cars. Now, the son in the hospital, very sad. No one wants to hear that. Well, the company felt terrible and sent flowers to the hospital. They felt terrible, but the staff there said, we've never heard of that boy. We don't know who you're talking about. Yeah. That person doesn't exist in this hospital. So they were like, what the fuck? What's going on here? There was around that time that they saw him on TV. Yeah. And they're like, wait a second. What the fuck is happening? So then they started looking into, because there was websites, then they started looking into racing websites and saw his picture on names and stuff, and they're like, okay, yeah, this is definitely the same guy. What the fuck's been going on? And they found out from the website that the reason why he wasn't at work wasn't because his son is sick in the hospital.
Because he was running the Le Mans.
He had a fucking race that weekend. Literally, that's what it was. He had a race that weekend. So he ended up getting in total 2.8 million pounds out of these poor people.
That's all it costs?
That's all it costs, so he could compete there. It was only for like 5 races he was in. Then they find out he's obviously arrested.
2.8 million put up front can get you a whole bunch of shit.
That's what I mean. A lot of credit too. Yeah, you can put this down and get that. Yeah, you put $50,000 down, they'll give you a $200,000 car.
Absolutely.
So that's how he did it. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
He's not going to fucking pay it back.
No.
What the hell does he care? He's stealing the money to begin with. I don't think credit's his concern.
No, I'll hit that payment next time I dip.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck him. So they ended up obviously contacting the authorities, and he's arrested for this whole deal.
Oh boy.
He's jailed for what they called planned and determined deception, is what they called it over there.
Okay.
In interviews, he admitted to police that all the funds, he did it all. He said, yeah, I took it. Yeah, absolutely. He said he was disillusioned with his job and wanted to, quote, step it up.
Yeah.
That's what he told the cops.
Also, officer, have you seen a Lamborghini?
They're fucking sweet. They're sexy. They're sexy, officer. I'm telling you, just come for a ride in one. I really feel like you'll understand better.
The Ferrari, it's asking for it.
It's just asking for it. So then the company spokesperson says he bought 3 Aston Martins, a Ferrari 348 TV, a Benetton F1 racing car, a Ferrari 550, 2 McLaren F1s, a Jaguar XJR, a Mercedes E55, a Mercedes CLK and a Mercedes E320. He also bought a Mercedes C180 for his team racing driver, Chris Goodwin, just as a present.
That's the cheap one.
That's the cheap, the C.
Right.
2 Ducati motorcycles were also bought for the men in the pits, as well as private motor car plates and a Concorde trip for the race team to visit Canada. Pissing money away.
That Concorde trip is probably the most expensive thing he bought.
Oh yeah,
he's got an F550.
Those are probably $10,000 a ticket, and he put the whole team over there, which is fucking crazy. Jesus Christ, is this his lawyer? I believe. Yeah. This is the prosecutor, Peter Warren. He says, "quote Munroe describes himself or his creation as a monster which he could not stop. He appears to have gained an immense adrenaline rush from what was, in effect, a double life. He became racked with guilt and wretched." Oh boy. I don't think he was racked with guilt at all. I feel like he was loving his life and he's like, fuck, it's stopping now? No! This is perfect.
Are you trying to tell me right now, James, and lawyer, that
and lawyer,
being rich kicks ass?
What?
Is that what you're telling me?
Fuck out of here. I mean, it sounds logical.
Wow.
Christ. So he ends up in court admitting 17 counts of transfer by deception and 3 counts of procuring the execution of a valuable security as well. The judge told him, quote, "This was a serious and continued breach of trust carried out over a substantial period, executed by false documentation. You, sir, may fuck off 5 years in prison."
He only got 5 years for that.
5 years he got for that.
I'm trying to fucking figure out if that's worth it.
You know what I mean? Well, that was 2000, mid-2000.
Yeah.
March 2003, he's released from prison.
Okay.
That's almost worth it.
Yeah.
A couple of years.
I might do it.
Just to have that kind of life for a while.
I might do it if I'm in his shoes.
You know, you could spend your whole time in jail just telling people how great it was.
Right.
The last few years of your life. Do you understand? I was fucking... Let me tell you about my cars again. Hold on. Wait, just everybody gather around and tell you about my car collection. I mean...
You'd never have a more captive audience going, it's asking for it.
Fuck, man, yeah. Dude, it's fucking crazy. So 5 years in prison, but he's released about half of that. March 2003, he's released. He gets a job when he gets out.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck is going to hire this guy, but someone hires him. A company called Automotive Skills.
Okay.
Now, Automotive Skills is not what it sounds like. It sounds like it's like almost like a race car driving firm or something.
Or a website designed to help you get out of speeding tickets.
Yeah, well, it's actually a Department of Transportation, a Department of Transport, as they call it, funded charity that promotes training in the motor industry. So, for jobs, basically, for training people to be mechanics and shit like that. So, and he's their accounting guy. He's given free reign over the funds of this entire charity, this government funded charity.
Oh my God.
Not great, right? So, he's fully rehabilitated.
Did they not do a background check?
Everything's fine. It's all good. His salary is £63,000 a year, which is not bad. Year 2003, they're not too shabby here. So what he does here is this is fun. It's supposed to, like I said, promote the motor industry. He landed his job, but 9 months, this was only 9 months after he was released from prison, this is all going on. Within that 9 months of working at this place, he forged 43 checks to himself. He basically, he's discovered after the director at Automotive Skills saw a website that outlined his previous fraud. Found him on there, and so he was like, well, I guess I should look into this guy. And he looked, he's fucking doing it again. This fucking guy's doing it again.
Get out of here.
What the fuck? This motherfucker.
He started stealing from them too.
Well, from them too. 43 checks he forged in the
How
first.
Much?
We'll talk about that in 1 second here. It's unfucking believable. He's suspended that the next day while they investigate, and then he's supposed to turn up for a disciplinary hearing with the company to talk about it, and he doesn't show up for that. So they just fire him that month. He ends up being arrested. When he's arrested, he admits that he leased a bunch of cars. He had a BMW, a Mercedes, a Saab, all the shit that he had here. They basically here estimated that he forged £100,000 worth of £100,000 worth of checks and denied stealing £12,000 to buy 2 Chelsea season tickets to go watch soccer, claiming they were a legitimate business expense for entertaining clients. It's like, that I bought, but that's legit. That I actually did for the company. The rest of the shit, kind of fucked around. A little more than that. So
I gotta lean on the fool me once. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
This is their fucking fault. Why would you hire this
background check?
You idiot.
So the court,
2003.
The court hears that he stole. This is from this charity. A total of £420,364.
Wow.
From the fucking charity. That is wild. And so in court they talk about, he did this before. This is kind of his thing. What he does here. The judge told him, quote, "Your naked greed is breathtaking." Breathtaking. That's why I love an English judge. That's why I love a British judge.
Yeah.
An American judge would never say your naked greed is breathtaking. They'd say, you disgust me.
Right.
This guy.
Even if they said
your naked greed is breathtaking.
Even if they said your greed is breathtaking, not near as much sting as naked.
You're naked. It's just fucking transparent. You're naked. You, sir. That's what I'm saying. That's where that came from. An angry fucking judge.
So raw.
Yeah. Well, he forged all these checks to buy a $70,000 Porsche, lease 3 executive cars, and rent a £5,000 a month cottage. So he got himself a big house, too, out of this. Yeah, he was hooking himself up. This is on a £63,000 a year job. He's doing. So the rent in the cottage is his entire salary.
And some.
Yeah, taxes out, right. It's even more. So, yeah, he can't even afford just his rent.
And he's got all the cars, too.
And he's got a Porsche, too, on top of it. So
sometimes you got to get the perks.
That's wild, man. So $400,000 fucking dollars. So... Jesus Christ, man. So he didn't mention the jail term when he applied for this job.
Yeah.
He didn't say he's been arrested for, fraud before. That's why they didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And so didn't mention that. He said, quote, this is what the guy from the charity said, quote, "He also provided 2 referees, I think references, and mobile phone numbers. It's now believed that Mr. Munroe was on the other end of the phone on both of these occasions." He gave fucking references, phone numbers to numbers he had, and then pretended to fucking be his references.
Oh, that's amazing.
Dude.
He's got to put on a female voice.
Yeah. Hello. Oh, James is a wonderful accountant, yes. Oh, he did all our money. He's wonderful. Oh, I'd trust him with anything. Oh, in case he doesn't work out with you, I'll tell him if he can please come back and work for me again. He was so wonderful.
He's so personable.
It's just personable, honest as the day is long. Honest, just a wonderful, honest gentleman. It's a gentleman. No. So, yeah. He's just, I love this though. This is the, if you're going to do it, I guess go big.
Yeah.
Go try and fool people, I guess. So, this woman also said, quote, "The people concerned had no knowledge of being referees for him." So he made up names, or he had real names of real people in real companies.
Yeah.
He just pretended to be them.
Unbelievable.
So that's the fucked up part here. He admitted obtaining an advantage by deception, 3 charges of obtaining services by deception, and 2 counts of theft. He did deny the 1 count of theft, saying that was legitimate.
Yeah.
Those soccer tickets,
Right.
We needed those. Come on.
I went to the games.
I did that for the company.
Right.
Sometimes I was defrauding the company, but I also did my job. I mean, Jesus, I did entertain clients. He did that. He also denied 4 counts of obtaining services by deception and 11 counts of obtaining property by deception, which they didn't proceed with those. They were like, we got him on these. That's good enough. His defense attorney said, quote, "He owed some money and he decided to pay off his credit card. Once it started, he went on to commit these offenses." That's just, it's like he started innocent. He was going to pay off his credit cards, but then, once it was easy, And then
I'm blown away.
It's fucking wild. He says he has always been involved in driving cars on the racing track, and when he found himself in the position of being able to obtain cars, he could not resist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no shit. He did this fucking before. Good Christ. So, this is a little less than fucking $500,000 for that. And he is again sentenced to prison. Mm-hmm. He's again sentenced to, you, sir, again may fuck off for another 5 years.
How do they...
It should be more now.
Yeah.
You did it again.
Right.
And this is from charity. This is worse.
Way worse.
This is worse. This isn't from some fucking company.
Right.
This is,
This is a charity that doesn't have the means.
It's a government-funded charity. Like, you're stealing from taxpayers at that point.
Way worse.
It's different. You stole from the whole country instead of stealing from, McGraw and Hill.
You didn't stick it to the man. You stuck it to the queen. And goddamn it, nobody around here sticks it to the queen.
Now with this, that's why Harry has no hair.
Right.
He was going to get plugs, but this guy stealing from charities, and now Harry can't get plugs.
Enough?
Jesus Christ. Bullshit, man. So he does a couple of years in jail. Okay. Again, they release him early. When he gets out of jail, the first thing he's trying to do is he's going to publishers. I assume not McGraw Hill, probably. But probably left them out of the fucking rain. But going to all of these other publishers trying to get a book deal, basically. He's saying, he's calling it, this is how he's selling it too. This guy is amazingly full of shit. He's selling it as an inspirational tale.
Oh boy.
And how?
Who you inspiring?
He just got out of prison.
Right.
It's not like he got out of prison and then he went on to have his own charity that helped lots of kids. He didn't. He was a fraud twice and went to prison twice and just got out. What's inspiring about that? I don't get what the fuck that is. You too can be full of shit.
And only do 10 years.
And only do fucking 5, really. You get sentenced to 10, but you're only doing 5.
The place that he defrauded was called McGraw Hill.
That was the publisher.
That's hysterical that is Faith Hill and Tim McGraw.
Yeah, wasn't it McGraw Hill? Was that the name?
I think it is.
I thought it was too. McGraw, I'm going to look at it now. I got to look back now. I'm pretty sure it was fucking McGraw Hill.
That's hysterical.
Goddamn name of the place.
McGraw and Faith Hill's publishing company.
And they're also English publishers now. You didn't know that. So he's trying to get a fucking book deal. That's a big deal for him. Trying to get a book deal. He's going literally to every publisher in England besides McGraw Hill looking for a deal, which really they'd be the ones you think they'd want to publish it the most if they could put their own notes into it.
Maybe they can make the money back.
Yeah, we're going to put some liner notes in this bitch for you, okay? This is some stuff that you're not totally truthful on.
Maybe you can pay some restitution with this.
No shit. So he's at this point, he's got no cars anymore.
Yeah.
He's walking. He's got nothing.
Right.
He's taking the bus. He went from Ferrari to bus. And he's bussing from publisher to publisher going, isn't it inspiring? And you're like, what? You're a liar. Is that inspiring? Not really. I don't know.
Swindler.
Yeah, you're just a liar. That's all you are. The cars, that's kind of cool and shit. If you got some pictures, I'll look at them. But other than that, I don't want to deal with you.
You lie so much. How are we supposed to believe this book is true?
Yeah, that's the thing. Who the fuck knows what he's doing? So he starts to get a little depressed about the whole thing. He starts to get a little despondent, as you would imagine, as anybody, whether you're a scumbag or not.
Yeah.
If you end up... you were here and now you're here. It's bad.
You're successful peddling your bullshit. Now you're not. Now it sucks.
It's bad for your psyche. So he's just sitting around. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He ends up, like I said, publisher to publisher. He ends up he's in London, looking for a publisher, and he ends up in what is the name of it? I didn't put it down for some reason. It's a big park in London that I don't know the name of.
Oh,
big park there. It's in a park.
Westminster Abbey.
Yeah, he's right on the front lawn. The Queen's looking out the window. Yeah. I don't know if that's Buckingham is.
Yeah.
But either way, someone's looking out the fucking. I just did this they have fucking
blinds.
Like they have blinds at Buckingham Palace. They have vertical blinds. Everybody, not even like mini blinds. Yeah, horizontal minis. Like, who's on the lawn now? Oh, him again. I don't think that happened.
Keep an eye on that soldier. I believe he moves.
Don't lose your ball. I'm keeping it.
If it comes over the hedge, it's mine.
It's mine.
Now off with you.
Off with you, guys. So he's sitting in the park. He doesn't know what to do, and he's just despondent.
Yeah.
And you know, cars are passing by and he hears the rumble of cars. He's like, oh, that's a Ferrari. I can feel it. And blood starts to go up. And then he hears a different noise. He hears dogs barking in the distance. And they get closer and closer. Wouldn't you know it? It's Bobby Colorado, animal trainer from Fredericksburg, Texas. And he says... How is it you come to arrive here? Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. Seriously, what do you got at this life? Let me ask you, I know a lot of people, a couple of guys a little bit shady here and there. I've met them in my day. You know how it is. You bump into them, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I got to tell you, all of them, if they had a nice house, nice car, you know, I get the wife's not fucking bitching at you, complaining because you got all bills piled up, all this shit. Right. They'd be fucking happy. That's why they're going out there doing all this garbage. You got it all. We need fucking car. You don't need a fucking book. Right. You need a fucking book and Ferrari. You know what you need? A nice dog. You need a nice dog. You tell him about your problems. He'll look at you, lick your fucking face. You know what I mean?
He'll be so impressed.
He'll be so impressed.
So inspired.
It's inspired. You don't care what kind of car you got. You got a Toyota Camry, he'll hang his fucking head out the window with as much pride as if it was a Ferrari. You know what I mean? So if you need something, I got you covered right here. Man, but I don't know, because you'll probably lie to the dog and like leave it somewhere and sell it to somebody, tell them it's a special dog. And I'm going to take my dogs and go, hey, never mind, get the fuck out of here. Poof. And in a cloud of marinara sauce and dog shit, he's gone. And
get yourself a Toyota Ferrari.
Your Toyota Ferrari. You're going to love it. James is quite confused. Yeah. He has no idea what's going on here. So, they do talk a little more to him, and he has a little bit more to this interview, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. He says that this is amazing. 2011, this interview takes place. This is right after the Bobby Colorado incident, so it's a little shaken up. He says, around 10 years ago, I hit the headlines of the national media as a convicted thief of some largesse.
Good Lord.
That's some way to put it.
Yeah.
A fraudster. It was not the usual tale of someone wandering around with a pocket full of someone else's cash. Didn't he tell literally a tale of walking in with a pocket full of someone else's cash is the exact words he used?
Verbatim.
Not that tale. Acquiring the usual list of Range Rover and a couple of other exotics for the driveway. No, this was something on a considerably larger scale. Yeah. No shit. This was my flawed odyssey into the world of supercar ownership and professional motor racing. It may have been the dream for many. It proved to be a nightmare for the countless victims, all of whom became unwittingly dragged into my life. It all climaxed in my eventual downfall and inevitable spell behind bars, courtesy of Her Majesty. Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Courtesy of you did.
Yeah, you did.
Don't blame her.
I think she provided him with food.
Okay.
And a place.
Yeah.
He says, quote, I am not going to deny that for the most part, I have had the time of my life. Well, that's nice to know.
It's been so fun breaking the law.
Isn't that great? Yeah. But at what cost? It did not even register that what I was perpetrating was wrong in any way. I had no concept of the eventual consequences. Well, maybe not the first time. Probably the second time you did, I'd imagine, because you just got out of jail. I simply became lost in my own twisted world, driven by a ferocious and ravenous ego, deluded and amoral. I ruined so many lives that will stay with me for years to come, if not forever. A few may empathize with my story. Many more will criticize, no doubt. Yeah.
You got two right here.
Who the fuck is empathizing with you?
Nobody.
I don't have empathy for you. No, I don't.
I have an asshole.
Yeah, I had empathy and sympathy for James Scott, who was like thrown in the fucking clink when he's 13 for truancy. Like that guy never had a chance. You can get empathy and sympathy. This guy lived fine. Yeah. Fuck you. You're greedy. That's it. Period.
He had a family.
Yeah, you weren't trying to survive and eat. You were just being a greedy twat.
And people that loved you.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. So 2015, obviously 2011, he's out of jail. He does this interview. He's kind of quiet for a couple years. Mm-hmm. Don't know much of what he's doing until 2015.
And then
2015, he gets a job.
Oh God.
He is hired for £65,000 a year as the finance director. Wow, who would give this guy access to a fucking dime? I wouldn't let this guy run a cash register.
Yeah, now they don't have any excuse.
No, it's twice. He's out doing interviews talking about it.
And it's 2015.
Yeah, you can do...
Google exists like a motherfucker.
That's what I mean. Because I've known of this guy since 2016, since we started this fucking show. So if I knew just by looking some shit up for looking for criminal athletes, you must really fucking know about him. It's $65,000 or pounds a year. Finance director at the West Cumbria-based, it's BEC, Britain's Energy Coast. It's called. It's a Cumbria-based regeneration agency.
Okay.
I don't know, some sort of electric
utility
shit.
company.
There you go.
Yeah.
You would know that.
Yeah.
So BEC is jointly owned by the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, Allerdale Borough Council, Copeland Council, and Cumbria County Council. All sound pretty important.
It sounds like
Official.
a piggy bank, James.
Yeah, it's that's
holy shit.
Yeah, kind of. You could see that. Now, August of 2015, he is asked to leave his position in August of 2015 because 2016, we find out why.
Yeah.
In May of 2016, we find out that he falsified his resume, obviously, falsified his CV, and invented references again. They called him. He did the same shit again. He just did it again. And he got the same job, same fucking salary, same everything. Just got right back into his life. He gave bogus email addresses for references. He answered him, the whole fucking deal. Jesus Christ, man. What he ends up doing here is he uses this to steal. He funnels 40,687,000 pounds of public money into his own shit. He bought a Jaguar and then used it to trade in for other cars, including a BMW and 2 Mercedes. He ends up with. So this fucking guy. It's like he's like in the old, like in casino, like in the old Vegas casinos, if they caught you cheating, they like break your hand with a fucking hammer. Yeah. Like someone needs to break both his feet with a sledgehammer so he can't drive anymore. Yeah.
Otherwise, he's coming back with a fake mustache next week.
That's what I mean.
This is crazy.
He needs both his feet broken so he can't get on that gas pedal because he is addicted to that shit.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. When he's arrested, he is found in a Premier Inn, which is not Premier.
No.
It's a Premier Inn, which is a shit motel.
Okay, it's like
it's like here. It's like a
hostel.
Super 8 isn't very super. It's one of those. The Premier Inn isn't Premier.
VIP nails. You'll never see Beyonce in there.
Fuck no. He's living there, and he must hand over all property found in his possession to the energy company for that. This includes a Mercedes C180, 3 mobile phones because he's got to answer his references. A laptop and a wireless computer mouse. They even got that in there. He's got a wireless mouse. He's taking it.
This rich motherfucker.
1 AAA battery in here. Taking it. Rechargeable. It's a good one.
Put it in my remote.
Cox also must give up because now he's just Cox now. He's not even Munroe anymore.
Oh, brutal.
That's how they know who he is.
Yeah.
He must also give up a set of silver Aspinall cufflinks that he was given by colleagues upon his departure from BEC. When he was fired, they gave him a going away present, and he has to give those back.
It's part of his severance.
No, it wasn't even that. It was the other employees got him a going away gift.
Oh, what?
And he has to give that back. He has to give that to the company even because it was.
Did you hear why James got fired? I did. What do you think? I think we got to get those cufflinks back.
We should get him cufflinks. Yeah, we got to get him back now. Jesus Christ, man. He managed to acquire the money by forging a signature to authorize a loan of more than $140,000 to a local company, but only $100,000 of the borrowing had been agreed. So he took $100,000, gave it to them, and took $40,000 and kept it for himself.
Wow.
That's what he fucking did. And he used that to buy a Jaguar. Dude, I don't even feel bad for these companies now. Like, the first one, fine.
Yeah.
The second one, I mean, no, but I'll even give you the second one. But the third one?
That's their fault.
Fuck you. No. You do better research.
I'm almost on the side of, like, leave him out of jail. And anybody defrauded by him
it's on your own at this point. You're on your own. That's what I mean. Like, he's not even... You should know, if you're going to hire anyone to handle all of your company's money, you should look into that person, even if you don't think they're a felon, because it's all the money can do this shit. So, I mean, the charities, obviously that sucks. It's defrauded from charities and government money and shit like that. I mean, I feel bad for all these people, Jimmie, but not nearly Not nearly as bad
Yeah.
as I feel for all these people.
Named James Cox?
Named James Munroe with a U and everything.
Lord.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. James Munroe, warehouse supervisor at Scholastic Book Fairs. He's even doing something nice in the New York City area here. James Munroe.
Scholastic Book Fairs.
Isn't that nice?
The people that take forever to get to your book.
Oh, yeah, it's 6 weeks
Yeah.
to get you a fucking Hardy Boys novel in the second grade. What is going on here? Whatever the fuck people are going to... My Curious George is late. So
going into 8th grade.
No shit. James Munroe, director of cybersecurity, could have used him in Guildford, United Kingdom. So
And he's right there.
could have used that
You
guy. Maybe hire
assholes.
him instead. James Munroe, railroad manufacturer professional in the United States. Are we still building railroads?
We're calling him that?
I thought we had all our rails down already. I didn't think we were still building that. I thought we did that, I don't know, 140 years ago or so, right?
At the expense of many, many people.
Especially the Chinese. Yeah.
What was that guy's name?
Which one?
This one here?
Monroe. James Monroe.
James Munroe,
Yeah.
obviously. Not nearly as bad as I feel for this guy. Todd Kim.
It's just some guy. Fuck him. Can you imagine that? I just picked out other random
Wait, James,
names.
he doesn't have the same... No, I just
Doesn't
feel
matter.
bad for him because he builds railroads.
Yeah, it's just a shit job. That's all. That's what it'll be from now on. It's going to be a few people with the same name and then one person who I just feel bad for because their job sucks. I really feel bad for all these people and this guy. I mean, his life sucks. Not for the same reasons, but yeah, his life sucks. See, railroad manufacturer professional.
Unbelievable.
James Munroe, president at Pickens Cane Companies in Greater Chicago area. James Munroe, ministry consultant at Gateway Church in Dallas-Fort Worth. Pray for him.
He swindles twice.
James Munroe, a tech at Valvoline Instant Oil Change in Portland, Oregon. This has something to do with cars.
I hope that's what his job is today.
That's what it should be. He likes cars.
Right.
You can fucking play with them and look at them and all that. Yeah.
You get to test drive them when you're a mechanic. Go do that shit.
Yeah, you get to see if it works now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You can get a job at some high-end mechanic.
Right.
There you go. The police were called with this other company, the BEC, called by Chief Executive Michael Pemberton after suspicions were raised during a detailed audit. He admitted 2 fraud charges and 4 counts of transferring criminal property. Now, a statement from BEC, the spokeswoman said, quote, "We thank our police force for its proactive approach in this case. With this being an ongoing criminal case, we're unable to comment any further." Then they commented further.
Yeah.
They went to then, and then they said, quote, "He is clearly a dishonest person.
Well done.
Plus, he's a flight risk and has no local ties," because they asked, how do you feel about him being held with no bond? And they were like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's full of shit. If he gets around anyone and can somehow take their money and put it with his money, he's going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
So who cares? So yeah, he's remanded to custody. He has no bail, no nothing. In court, he admits the 6 offenses like we talked about. Committing fraud to get the job is one of them because it's a public job, so you can't, whatever. Obtaining money through fraud and 4 counts of transferring criminal property. The Carlisle Crown Court heard he bought a Jaguar after forging a signature for a loan agreement, obtained 40,687 pounds, and the court heard that he was employed there, and he was in negotiations with a local firm about giving the 100,000. They did that whole thing, the 100 and the 40. So on closer inspection, the signature used for the $40,000 transfer bore no resemblance to the one on file for the legitimate client, and that's when they noticed that it was probably forged.
Got it.
Who could have forged it? Only this guy. Mm-hmm. That's what it was.
Who does that a lot?
Who's the guy? We got a 4G guy in here somewhere. They said it was found that $40,490 had been transferred to the Jaguar company, and paperwork was with Mr. Cox. So kind of hard to get that. And he then exchanged a Jaguar XK for a BMW, and then for 2 separate Mercedes cars between May and August. So he needed to get like new ones all the time, and he was bored with a car. So his defense attorney This poor bastard. He tells the court that Cox is an educated single man, because I'm sure his wife is divorced by now.
She's long gone.
Long gone, with a degree in accounting and finance, which the judge just said, yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
He knows how to do this shit. He also, the defense attorney continues, he has no assets whatsoever. He has no accommodation, and as of his release from custody, will be of no fixed abode. He's got nothing except what he steals.
Right.
If only he would have just done his fucking job and made £65,000 a year, he could have lived fine.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he doing?
For the last 15, 20 years.
It's fucking ridiculous. So following the hearing, the guy that turned him in, Mr. Pemberton, he told the newspaper that it would be basically what they got from him taken back will be sold in an attempt to get as much of the $40,000 back as they can. He estimated, though, the figure will probably be more in the ballpark of $15,000 is what they're going to get back. And he also stressed the need for much more rigor with their recruiting process. You think? Or any at all. Just any.
Just run a name through the Google.
Just a quick Google search. Yeah, that's all you really needed. Just run it through and you could have done it. He also, Pemberton, the guy in charge and who turned him in, said he had mixed feelings following the sentencing, because he's going to get, as we'll talk about in a second here, might as well, let's sentence him. We'll sentence him in a second. We'll get back to the quote in a second here. Let's see here. Detective Inspector Dan San Quentin, Detective Inspector Dan, I like that, of the Cumbria Police said, quote, I welcome the sentencing. This successful prosecution was brought about by the hard work of West Cumbrian detectives working closely with Britain's Energy Coast and Avon and Somerset Police.
How dare you?
How dare you?
The CEO blew the whistle.
Yeah,
you guys didn't do shit.
You looked at it afterwards and cuffed him.
We're amazing.
Yeah. We are the fucking best. Then he says, quote, this is the judge here. James Cox has stolen over $40,000 from a fund set up to help communities in Cumbria that need it most. He's put jobs and community projects at risk. He has used this money to fund a lifestyle he could not afford. I ask all companies and charities to be diligent when they take on new clients or staff. Check CVs, follow up references, and report any suspicions quickly. Britain's Energy Coast did this, so they were able to catch Cox. All reports we receive will be treated sensitively and seriously. You, sir, may fuck off. 6 years in prison.
Okay.
An extra year.
6 years for 40 grand.
6 years for 40 grand.
Hurts.
That hurts. Yeah. But it's his third time. So, I mean, that's,
should have given him a lot more.
That's not too shabby.
That was in 2015?
That was 2015. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So he's out by now.
Yeah.
Now let's see what dude said. He talks about this. He said, Pemberton said he had mixed emotions about the sentencing. He said, yes, he has got 6 years, but actually he has defrauded the communities of Allerdale and Copeland of £40,000. Yes, I'm happy we caught him. Yes, I am over the moon that he got 6 years, but I'm disappointed that we're not able to provide the communities with the value that we said we would. Poor bastards. So, he's still in there. 6 offenses, fraud to get the job, money through fraud, all that type of shit. Can't get enough of James Cox. Well, you can have a piece of him.
Oh?
Piece of history, because it was for sale. That McLaren was for sale.
Really?
His McLaren.
How much?
His McLaren, not only was it for sale, it also was owned by Rowan Atkinson.
Really?
He bought it in the...
No kidding.
He bought it in like 2000, late 2000s, I want to say, and then he ended up selling it, and it ended up being there. So
God, I love him.
This, let's see here. Here's a thing about the car. Okay, this is about this car. Prior to the long tail, the racing world had the McLaren F1 GTR. This formidable racer dominated the world of motorsports in 1995. It even managed an overall victory at the 1995 24 Hours of Le Mans, which we've talked about, beating out purpose-built prototypes. However, in 1997, when the BPR Global GT Series, FIA GT Championship ended. That's too long of a title. The rules for the GT1 class changed when the Porsche 911 GT1 already ahead of the F1 GTR technologically and the Mercedes CLK GTR nipping at its heels. McLaren needed to do something. Drawing from its rich motorsport past, especially in Formula One, McLaren engineers got to work. The most obvious change to the F1 GTR was the bodywork. No longer would it have a stubby nose and a flat rear. Instead, to get the most aerodynamic advantage possible, engineers stretched the car 20 25 inches. This earned the nickname of the Longtail. The Longtail didn't gain any weight, though. In fact, it lost over 430 pounds.
Wow.
Over the F1 GTR. This brought the total mass down to 2,017 pounds. Which is interesting. Other changes came with the rework of the BMW V12 as well. It's originally built for Parabolica Motorsports. Its main claim to fame is the first Longtail to win a race. According to Racing Sports Car, that race was the British GT Silverstone, which our guy ran twice, on April 6, 1997, with Gary Ailes and Chris Goodwin at the wheel. Chris Goodwin is his other driver.
Right.
So he must have bought the car and the driver that fucking came with it, too.
Unbelievable.
Which is a smart move. He knows the car, and he won a race with it, so why not? During 1997, that same chassis went on to compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans with other Longtails. However, the fortune wasn't on its side, and it never finished the race. Here we go. The car met an unfortunate end, though. The owner in 1999 was James Cox, a.k.a. James Munroe, who fraudulently embezzled millions of pounds to set up an F1 team. That team never happened, and Cox ended up in jail. Well, it did happen, and he was in some races 3 times. According to Road and Track, the chassis 27R eventually ended up on the Tom Hartley JNR site in 2015. Whoa. However, instead of being sold, the F1 GTR made its way to Lonsante in Hampshire, UK. While there, the Longtail got a full-on restoration, bringing it back to pre-motorsport condition, complete with new Lark livery. Okay. In addition to the restoration, the company also made modifications to make the Longtail road legal. Yes, you read that right. You can legally drive a car that competed in Le Mans on British roadways.
Awesome.
That's fucking crazy. The car is for sale without any word on price. That's the thing. It's like a private whatever. However, the last Longtail that sold went for around, want to guess?
1.4?
13 million.
What?
So a number in the ballpark isn't out of the question.
$13 million.
They're super rare, and they're from 25 years ago.
So he's trying to sell this. This is
not
his
him.
car.
This is his car, but someone else, other people own it.
So whoever's owning it is going to sell it for unreasonable amount of money.
The money that
more money than he ever stole.
He ever stole and could ever even have fucking dreamed of stealing. But that is James Munroe / Cox. Everybody,
wow,
what a weird fucking story, right? That's.
James, he's going to steal again.
Oh, he's definitely going to steal again. He's got nothing else to do.
He has no interest in trying to make it legal.
He's never tried before. So, that's just one of those stories where I'm like, that's such a weird story. Yeah. And so outside of what we normally do, that we had to do it.
He's so young.
He's young, too. Yeah, 66 he was born. I mean, he's not like he's an old guy. He's in his 50s right now, and he's a mess. He's already got three fucking times. He did the same thing, and it's always just a little longer. He waited that last time, but still, he just didn't have the opportunity. That was it.
Unreal.
It's like as soon as he has the opportunity to steal, he's going to steal.
Yeah.
So, that's that. And don't worry, we'll get back to, by the way, next week we're off. We're taking next week off. Small Town Murder we're going to do, but no crime in sports next week. We are off next week. Honestly, we fucking need it.
Yeah.
We need a fucking week, man. We're just overwhelmed with shows and shit. And, just spend some family time and have a day with that, and we'll be back on for Small Town Murder that week. But 1 week off, and then we're coming back, and we have an NFL player, and we got wrestling coming up, of course, in the in one of the first 2 weeks back. So don't worry, some crazy ass stories coming back here, but you can digest this one for a couple weeks because it's fucking weird. Everybody, if you enjoyed that story, please let the world know about it.
Yes.
Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and give us 5 stars. Damn it! Say whatever you want. You can just say you're following instructions. It's dark in here. It doesn't matter. Say whatever you want. It just helps us on the business end, helps drive the show up the charts. Yes. Also, you should go to shutupandgivememurder.com. They can find all sorts of shit there. They can find all your merchandise, information, tickets to live shows that will eventually happen someday. Someday we'd like to do a live show again.
That would be nice.
I mean, I know we have Nashville coming up in a few weeks, but let's face it, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not fucking happening.
There's no way that's going to happen.
No way that's fucking happening.
D.L. Hughley just almost died.
Yeah, and that was and that, by the way, they were doing third full rooms then, too. We have sold out shows, so I don't know how we'd cram 300 people into a fucking tiny room.
Hope he rebounds fast.
I don't know.
Guy.
Well, he was asymptomatic of COVID. It wasn't that. He passed out from dehydration, and then they were like, oh, by the way, you also have this. It's like, oh, shit, really? Fuck. So, yeah. And I'm sure through all of his particles, he was spreading it all throughout the crowd.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Which we don't want to do,
all over
obviously.
Nashville now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we don't want to do that, obviously. So hopefully at some point we'll have live shows. You buy the tickets, and whenever we do have live shows, you'll have tickets.
You will.
Whenever they reschedule, they just move all the ticket holders over. So you don't have to like turn them in and get new ones or cancel them or any shit like that. So that's good. Get your tickets there.
And I promise you guys, we miss the fun too.
We
can't
really
wait
do.
to get back.
We can't wait. It's so much fun for us. Honestly, it's good for our egos. Like it's nice to go out there and do live shows
and see all of you guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're comics. Like this is weird for us to talk and not get any laughs back. Right. So like to go out on the road, that feels normal for us to get the laughs back from an audience and all that kind of shit. So it hurts us physically and mentally to not do this and financially like a motherfucker. So it's brutal. It's brutal. So speaking of that, by the way, financially, if you want to be a friend of the show, bigger than that, a producer of the show. Yes. Let's say you want to have Jimmie mispronounce your name at the end of the show. We can do that.
I'll oblige.
You want more? You want extra stuff? Yeah. We can do that too. We have tons of bonus stuff, man. Tons of bonus stuff on Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. Mm-hmm. If you're over the $5 level, you can get all the bonus episodes, not only from Crime and Sports, but from Small Town Murder as well. Right. And it's a lot of different stuff. Like we did the classified ads. Yes. We do like that. We do the prisoner dating game.
Oh, the best.
Mini stories, things like that. This week, Crime and Sports Patreon episode is all about the WWLE now, but WWF when it happened, their Ring Boy scandal, which if you hear Ring Boy scandal, gross. It sounds gross, and it's not even as gross as it actually is. It's pretty gross. So it's a big scandal that they had in the early 90s that kind of got settled and pushed under the rug, and it's out there, and it's wild that shit happened, and people are still out there from it. So we're going to talk about that, and I don't think that's gotten a lot of air in a while, so that'll be quite fucking interesting to check out. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. If you just want to be, just a person with good karma,
you can,
who, wants to show their love for the show, you can do that very easily over at PayPal. Use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And if you want to get a hold of the show, say hello, yell at us, fucking give a suggestion for whatever you want to do, you can do that very easily. We're at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, and we are at Small Town Murder on Instagram. That's how that works. Jimmie, you know what I need?
Yeah.
It's been quite the week. It's been a long week and a lot of research and stuff. I need, more than anything, the list of the best people people who would never embezzle millions of pounds from us just so they could drive fancy cars. Jimmie, tell me who these wonderful people are right now.
This week's executive producers are James Kowalski, Sheila McGann, Shannon Feltus, Nathan Davidson, Kimberly Radisky, Michelle Hayes, Erica Hawk Silberman. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Jordan Bennett again. Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Cheryl Wright, Chrissy Ann Castaldi. Thank you very much. Rebecca Bodie, Della Reagan Weather, I think. Erica Anderson, Grace Robichaux. No. David Mahi, David James, Britt Smith, Valerie Anderson, Lisa Adams, Cohen McPherson, Kathy Monks, Courtney Cox, and Ashley Scarlett. Thank you all very, very much. Other producers this week are Andrew Lamont, happy birthday, Joey Conway, Ashley Vio, Larry Butterfast, Gara Bedian, Annabelle Jenkins, Shelby Mertens, Caleb Palmer, Thomas Smith, Philip Brady, Trevor Christensen, Graham Wilson, Heba Mosen, Lloyd Settles.
For what?
I don't know. Femininity RL, Lori Cook, Pink Zebra, TJ Mack, Amanda Knight, Sabrina with no last name, Lynn Lomax, Stephen Grieger, Kip Sousley, James Martyr, Liz Vasquez, Sherry McPherson, Brittany Crooks Wood, Caleb Wiener. Sorry, man. Peyton Meadows, Anna Lee. Sorry, bro. Aniki Halady, I think. Marianne Reffett, Andrea Will, Jordan Gerlach, Gustavo Cheesetoe, Janice Hill, Kristen Bellinger, Helen Barris, Buster Cherry. No, it's not. You fucker. Aaron Gregg, Ethan Stowers.
I saw that one. I was like, Jimmie.
Neil Jones, Card Swank, I think. Cardi. Peter H., Zachary with no last name, Cristobal Ybarra, Gary Denault, Patrick Lewis, Holly Welch, Frankie Fourfingers. Snatch is such a great movie. Richard Rittinger, Victoria Rossborough, Kevin McDonald, Patrick Baker, Hello Bodega Kitty, Chrissy Meek, Brad Davis, Stephanie Igoa, Jackie Sukup, Ben with no last name, Danny Hines, Lucas Castanen, Pete, what did I do? Babness? I've got the word Basness. I think that's Dennis Hannigan, Michael's Fine Clothing and More, not just
and more.
Ramona Holmberg, Andrew Fontaine, Mike Hummel, Raymond Afin Clevenger. Oh, Raymond motherfucking Clevenger. That's what it says.
That makes more sense.
Jason Stuck, Peter Melling, Wendy Platter, Melissa Allison Newbold, Linda Denton, Melissa with no last name, Mike Chadwick, Andrew Weil, Neil, Sarah with no last name, Nick Yates, and Tracy Renninger again. Thank you, Jude Kendall, David Oler, Amanda Armstrong, Savannah Preston, Heather Campbell, Shitface McGee, probably not, Caden Putnam, Alyssa Watkins, Zach Damberger, Jose Luis Renteria, Josh Shoffrin, Jeffrey Helmer, Travis Douglas, God damn it, Jeffrey Dawson, Guido Van Veen, probably not, Marcy Barnes, Angela Catrikis, Justin Valencia, Brandon Thomas, Lisa Farnham, Jessica Walkowski, Nancy Moxley, Jenna and Daniel, Hannah Zahn, Callie Guzman, Dan Zielkowski, Sean Burnett,
Dan something Polish. That's that from Night Shift.
Dylan Maloney, Loran, Stephen Southward, Aaron Lehman, Nancy Pierce, Kevin Danner, Molly Kaufman, Jose Cabrera, Mary with no last name, Timothy Burleson, Dakota Heidus, Harry Seward. That sounds like Harry Cunt.
It's
probably not.
Probably on purpose.
Okay. Brett Whiteside, Dakota Heidus. I said that. Jennifer Lucky, Molly Flowers, Theo Holtman, Emily Trout, Fabiana Barrett, Camille Johnson, Charity Mullen, Camille, my wife Camille, Melanie Flight.
That's Jimmy's impression of a rapist.
My wife Camille knows that I like the children.
It's a rapist.
Melanie Flight, I said that. Charity Mullen, Camille Johnson. Damn it, Brian Fry, Sound Bite. No. Matthew Glencoe, Alfredo Hernandez, Jesse Lewis, Ryan Davis, Carly Farrar, Robert Gwynn, Hunter Drummer, Ashley Yost, Jennifer Hall, I think, Brandy Cobb, Chuck Seckinger, Kayla Rip, Ethan Krenzer, no, M. Toulon, Ebony Wiggins, Sam Bilbrey, Joshua Miller, Sam Little, Kate Manning, Scott Griffith, Carly Burnham, Jennifer Gooch, I'm sorry, Robo Suze, Aaron Marsalis Posey, Jenny with no last name, Steph Parks, Conlapa, I don't know, Jesse Vaughn, Alberto with no last name, Alice Thompson, Michaela Bassett. Over in Florida, our lady that is our bodyguard down there. I'm not going to say her name.
I love her.
She's always packing.
I love her.
Thank you so much for your sweet emails.
Hell
I appreciate it. Kenny Peace.
It's my lady right there.
Cesar Tapia, what does this say? He's a medically retired Marine.
Cool.
And, what I wrote looks like something way worse.
I know exactly where you were going.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Cesar, for serving. And I'm sorry that I almost called you something way worse. Leanne Edwards, Christine.
Yeah, be careful in the state of Florida. You want to bum rush the stage in the state of Florida, a woman will shoot you. Guaranteed.
Ross Hetherington, Karen Parker, Amy Easton, Steph D, Nick Giersbeck, Bill R, Marnie King, Tony Francisco, Kate Nicholas, Brandon Tillotson, Catherine Butterfield, Sandra Watkins, Jazz and Zeke Brock, Jacinta Edmonds, Ann Chambers, Jake Hurst, Tabitha McClary, Terry with no last name, Colin Breguire, Matt Henslin. If I go slower, I can get better. Lauren Pollock, Kimberly Weekly, Cameron Monk, Micah Shy, Avalon Guarino, Laura Guaretti. No, I don't go slower. Don't watch The Wire, Jimmy, Caitlin Elisi, your boy Damron, Bella Co. Crompeacher, No, faster is better. Kim Sims Budnick, Chris Ingersoll.
Don't give your brain time to process this shit, Jimmy.
Peyton Duncan, Leah New, Nathan Smith, Samantha Imanis, Sherry Giemza, Robin with no last name, Erica Knight, Claire Stewart, her son Lucio rides the train in New York and used to Snapchat me all the time.
Oh, cool.
He has listened to us all 4 years of high school, and he's graduating high school.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lucio.
Definitely.
Fucking go make us proud, change the world. Travis with no last name.
Just don't get arrested, please.
Truly don't. Flavia Lee, what is that? Flatvia? No, Flatula Lee Roth. That's not real. And Jessica Baker. You guys, thank you so much for everything you do for us. We can't do it without you.
Thank you so much, everybody, honestly, for that, for everything you do for us. It means the world, and we are going to keep trying to pump those Patreon episodes out and make them more and more and more interesting. And we want you guys to feel like you're getting the bargain of your life when you sponsor us on Patreon. That's what we want. Mm-hmm. Content, good shit, funny shit, and also, it's just for all the other shows we do. Yeah. You want to be a nice person and do that. You're a fucking hero. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now.
The fam.
Jimmy, what if you are someone's hero? How could they tell you that? How could they possibly know?
At Whisman Sucks. WHISMAN Sucks. That's where. Over there on Instagram
beautiful.
And Twitter. Both. What?
Wow. Both
Find them there, and if you don't, I understand. What about you?
Out there somewhere. I'm at Jimmie P is funny, or you can just figure out how to spell my name and do it that way. Copy and paste. Make it easier on yourself there. And thank you so much for listening to this crazy shit story.
What a fucking run.
It's a fucking wild one. So remember, everybody, I get if you're into cars. That's fine. Yeah. You don't need to be that into cars to where you would embezzle. Cars were crack to this guy. Literally, we've had people on the show do less for hardcore crack addictions than this guy did here. So it's wild. But otherwise, thank you guys so much, honestly, for everything you do for us. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.